Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday night. I LFT and Delaney and the Erie Fairy and Kim and Larry in Tennessee and CDT and CBK. I think everybody should just change their name to like a bunch of initials. That's kind of cool. I just go through like CDT and CBK. And Melinda and Elena, Princess Megan Elsa.
I love that name.
Queen Feline Media. I think I said hi to LFT already. I don't know. But if I didn't, hi LFT. Crazy Mama, Gregory, Sulfur Music's in the house. Am I echoey? Is that me?
It might be me.
It's probably me.
Okay. So we should probably start off by telling him about you, Christine, and what's going on with your...
Hi, guys. The ghost says hello.
Does she sound that she's like, does she got ghost spirits today? So on Wednesday, she sounded fine to me, but apparently, like, to chat, it was like demonic.
I went back and listened a little bit, and I mean, it's only ever me.
Hi, S. Hockett. Hi, Tia. Nadine. True Crime Nut. Hi,
What?
Mez. I feel like I have an echo. You guys, do I have an
It's
echo?
me. It's like it's my computer hearing you, I bet.
Hi, Suzanne. It's your computer hearing me. Hi, Jamal. Jenny Mae. BG. See? Initials. BG that are just like badass.
I'll take it. Listen.
I listen, peeps. Tina. No spirit box? Hold on. Crazy Mom said no spirit box voice tonight.
I asked them to be quiet.
You had a conversation with. Hi, Fueled by Coffee and True Crime. Anybody else I missed? Hi, Maria.
Tia.
I think I tried to get everybody. If I missed you, I'm so very sorry.
Hey everyone. So anyways, I have to be early tonight. I'm only going to be here till about 6:55.
I thought we got you like a 7:30, or no, that's when you have to be there.
Yeah. I have
Okay.
to be there at 7.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so before we get started too much tonight, I had a special request from a couple of the subscribers, so I want to share. Let me pull it up for you guys so that I should have already had this ready. You know, I was sitting around not doing anything today. I was doing a lot. That was sarcasm, by the way.
She actually went through a whole bunch today.
Yeah, I was doing a whole bunch of crap.
Sorry, crazy mama. I can't control it.
What'd you do?
She's saying about she hates the spirit box.
Why can I not find you?
It's beyond my control.
Hi, Itsy Bitsy. Welcome. RJ.
Okay, give me 1 second and I will pull it up.
My beautiful CDT. Oh, hey, Britt.
I'm thinking I have too much crap open on my computer, and that might be my issue. So let's get rid of all this stuff.
You're bringing up Robert?
I'm trying to, but you know, I have like 50,000 windows that I got to like get through to get to the situation. So
one of our subscribers had said in our comments from our last video that there was a case of her good friend, she said, and it's an old one it's like 10 years, isn't it?
2013.
2013.
Yeah, her friend Robert James Todd is missing out of Washington. So we're just going to give him a couple of minutes, show his picture. Maybe, right, Teresa?
Yeah, maybe. Hold on. And we have a lovely surprise guest too. I'm very excited. I'm like a fangirl. So.
Now I'm going to get an official introduction.
Hi, beautiful lady.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hey,
Thank you so much.
Teresa.
Do we call you Tiffany or Zab or Tiff?
It don't matter. Whatever you guys want.
I call her both.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Michelle.
So this is you got Christine and Michelle both up here.
Her bandits.
So have you guys started chatting yet about the case or no?
No, I was actually just going to share. So one of our subscribers asked us if we could share some info on this case. It's a little bit older, so we're just going to show. I haven't been able to dig too far into it because we just got the comment. So I just want to show his missing persons flyer, and then a little bit about his info, so we can at least get it out there because it is older, and most people don't.
What? Who is it? Oh, I guess we'll see. Oh, Robert.
So his name's Robert Jacob Todd. And then let me get this going too.
So I wonder, because on the flyers it wasn't really clear like where he was living, or does it say? He said he was going to a friend's house, but I wonder where he left from. Was it was it friends or roommates or family?
He did. He left from a friend's house. I found an address and I Google Earthed it, and he basically had said that he told his friends that he was going to take a walk to go to another friend's house and then to go home, and that was the last time he was ever seen or heard from again. He is known for kind of just taking walks and visiting little like remote areas on his own. So I think initially that's what they were thinking happened.
So he didn't get reported missing for like 4 days.
Right, because they just assumed that he was out doing his own thing and what he normally does. Here, so I have an article. I'll read it real quick for you guys. It just says Robert Jacob Todd, 20 years old, was last seen on April 11, 2013, and was reported missing on April 15th. Police said that Todd had spoken with his friends living in Lakeland Hills area of South Auburn and told them he was going to walk to their home from 4205 Auburn Way, about 5 miles away. Officials said they believe that Todd was planning on taking various trails in the area and indicated one in the area of Dogwood/Forest Ridge Drive and a second trail along the White River Trail on the south side of the river. Todd never arrived at his friend's house and has not been seen or heard from since. He is a white male, approximately 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue t-shirt, shorts over skinny jeans, and blue Nike shoes with a bright orange swoosh.
And he was
just
only
disappeared.
20. He was young.
And there has been nothing since, like nothing. I backtracked every article possible. They reported on him, it looked like, for about 2 weeks or so. And that's been really it.
Wow.
So that's our banner on the bottom, scrolling along, right?
Yep. So if you do happen to know anything or you want to dig further into it, this is something that we're going to take a look at and see. Hi, Scottish Queen, Michigan, Tucky.
And you guys, if you know someone or have somebody like, or someone close to you, or you just know the case, let us know, because we'll make a point to bring it up before we get into other things.
I'd be more than happy. Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Miss.
You're seeing people I'm not even seeing like this. Chat's already like starting to skip around. Hi, Mel Mac.
So Zav, I was in your chat like a week ago. I don't think you saw me.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I
came in the chat and everybody just acted like I wasn't even there.
I'm sorry. I know I didn't need to get more mods maybe so they could greet everybody.
It's me, Teresa's friend. It's me.
Yeah, she normally solves, cases up on these panels, so she was just trying to get there, and
she's a solver. She solves cases every day.
Oh, hopefully next time.
It's so hard. When you have that many people in chat, even when I'm on panel like with you and you have that many people in chat, like it just starts skipping so fast.
I know.
I'm like,
when the skipping, even if you try to like find something, it like skips. It's weird. I don't.
Or you're the one that's sitting there like trying to scroll all the way. Like you're like, I don't even know who's talking anymore at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's over 2,000 people in a chat and it just goes berserko. And then you're trying to focus on. See, here's how I feel about Zav. People like give her a hard time like about the chat or whatever. She's got like multiple things happening at the same time. She's checking like 50,000 emails. She's showing videos, comparing shit over here, talking to a panel of people that most of the time aren't agreeing with each other. And then she's still showing all this stuff. I'm like, I cannot imagine anybody ever trying to host a channel and do 50,000 things like you do. So I'm like, dude, you know what? That's just how it's going to go. Like sometimes you're not going to see the comment. That's just it. And I know that people are like,
I do
I
get a
guess
lot of
smart chat.
bad I get a lot of emails too. They're like, I'm unsubscribing. You didn't see me. You're supposed to be able to multitask. I'm like, I'm not Superwoman here.
I'm
Like,
sorry about that too. I'm sorry.
I think you got your chair confused for a cape.
I'm sorry about. Just forget that email. It's over.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's why I'm like, I'll try to like read some of the comments, but then the other thing is, as soon as you start reading all the comments, they go in 50,000 directions. So even when I'm up there with you and I'm like trying to tell you like what some of the comments say, then we're like 50,000 different ways, and we're not even talking about what the heck I went up there to talk about.
Teresa's over there trying to focus the panel.
Like I can't do it.
You try. You do good though. You're
the panel. I watch you, Zab. You do so well with it. You're like, wait, hold on.
Remember like back in the day when it was just like the like tie-dye backdrop or something, and it was like
yeah. I still have that behind my green screen, but I got a green screen.
You put some fun stuff up there though.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
C-Dub's like, I don't know how any creative
hey, I
is.
haven't seen you for a while. Pays one bit of attention to that.
Got all kinds of cool people. Hi, Kate does crime.
That's hot.
Yeah, her facial expressions are priceless.
Mel Mac, thanks.
Missy said she watched you in the early watch days. I was just telling her the other day that the very first Zav live I ever watched, and this is like when people want to give Zav any crap about like digging into details, like this is literally what attracted me to her channel. Was the first live I saw was Watts, and it was going through the genealogy of Chris Watts and all the people in his family that had either committed unalivings of other people or themselves. Or yeah, it was crazy. And like I was like, dude, this chick's got details. I like it.
You love that too. That's all you right there.
Thank you. Oh, Soul for Music. Hey, and Mez. I don't know how you do it. I suck at multitasking.
She's able to see everybody in here.
Well, no, I don't have any pressure. I can just sit back and just.
I know. Now I'm like, crap. I have not compared all the trees, and I don't have all the things lined out. Okay, so you got a bunch of fans in here though. Everybody's like, I love Zav. I love me some Zav.
Everybody loves that.
Man, Verna gets around. Verna, are you a new true crime fanatic now, huh?
Dude, I love
it.
Call her out.
She's like in the community.
Zav was the first person that Connie watched.
Oh, wow, Connie, really? That's awesome.
It is.
That's pretty cool.
Connie.
Max 2002 is doing a bouncing back and forth between multiple. See, this is when you need to be like Zav and you have all the screens and you're just like, here's everything. Here's everything that I can do.
This is like a celebrity meet and greet, like a small, quiet focus group.
It is. Yeah. So I've been talking to Zav all day pretty much though about these cars and the searches, and like we've been digging into it, and I know that she was like, man, your brain thinks like mine. That's exactly what I've been digging into. I'm like, perfect, let's do it.
Do it.
Yeah, it's making me think like so many things though, like as far as it's just weird. I don't know when you want to start with all that. Like,
you're good. Well, I was just gonna say, so like the title of this live is like, why can't we let it go? Like, why can't we just walk away from Kylie's case? And I think for everybody it's a little bit different, but for me it's things like the car thing. Like I was sucked into this all day long and looking at these searches and how many searches and when were the searches and who was there at the same time, and this is why I can't let it go, because of the details like we were talking about. Like I want all the details.
Yeah. And yeah, me too. And where's the phone? That's getting me. Like, where the heck's the phone at?
That's a big one. So, Checkit went out there today to go look for the phone.
Today? He's still doing it? Oh, I didn't know he was still searching. Okay. So he thinks it's still in the water somewhere.
He said he didn't know, but the water was definitely even more receded on his live that he did today. And he wasn't even sure that the phone was still out there. He's like, what if they've recovered it? And he was driving and stuff, so he wasn't paying attention to his chat. But I was trying to like ask him, because remember the clip where he's saying like the law enforcement did come out, and when they came and took the stuff, they asked if he would go back in and dive. You remember that?
You mean the one that he took down? The video he took down, or which one are you talking about? I watched, somebody had it. They re-uploaded it. Are you talking about his family or when he just talked about it?
Yeah, I thought the family asked him that.
The family asked him if he was going back in that day. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna go in today?" He's like, "I need a flashlight." And
yeah, no, so a
that
different
lady,
one. So
by
when
the
the cop
way?
came out, CDT, you in here still, love?
Okay.
So I actually was on CDT's panel and I was like, I don't remember that. So she was lovely and pulled it up for me. And it's the cop is asking him to go back in and look for the phone.
But you seen the cop say that, or he just said
Hear
that?
him, I think.
Oh, you hear it? Okay.
Okay, that's why I'm gonna
goes
ask
along
CDT
with
because I don't want to put out bad
SF
info.
Was
No,
that the
but that
same
goes
day
along.
or
That
the
means
next
if
day?
they
Or,
don't have the phone, that means the phone is not in the car. That okay? So because
All
everybody
right, hold
wasn't
on.
sure to
I'm gonna
trust.
make sure CDT tells me what tells me
Doesn't really seem like
tells me the
anything
right
got
thing
left in
because
the
that
car.
was. But then
I
he said
know.
today that he didn't know if they had the phone, and so I was trying to like ask, like, did somebody ask you to like go out and look for the phone like right away? And she may have hopped out, so she's gonna have to come back and I can message her too. Hold on.
I don't think because I don't think they went back out there to search law enforcement. I don't see them going back out there.
Dad and Grandpa.
No, but it was something about that they asked him if he would go back in and search.
Yeah, but he didn't find it, so that means they didn't either, right?
That's kind of my thought. So then
I don't
today
think
he was
they
like,
have
I
it.
don't know if they found it. And I was like, I don't know. I know the grandfather asked him if he would go back in, but I'm almost positive. That's why I said I don't want to repeat the info and have it wrong. So I'm gonna get her.
Okay.
That grandpa's face like almost broke my heart when he handed him the computer and then they were like, don't open it, don't do anything with it. Oops, sorry. And he just looked so sad and like helpless.
did.
And it was just
He did,
He
yes.
knew it. He
Like
held it and he knew it,
brokenhearted.
you know. He was looking at
Yeah.
those little
Okay.
stickers and he just, yeah.
Okay, so there she is. Okay, I only heard it from SF Investigates that an officer asked Checkit if he found it and if he'd go back on. I only heard it from SF. Okay,
Said that
thank
on
you.
my channel too. I don't know if that's where you heard it, but he said it on my channel because that's what I was asking him. I'm like, well, because SF Investigates thinks it's an accident. I'm like, well, can you explain then where's the phone at? I mean, the phone would be right there. It's not in the
Right.
car because what he said. And we had Checkit diving and there was another private diver. Oh, that girl that found the can and found some other stuff. I don't think she found the phone either. So
Doesn't seem like anybody's found the phone.
I mean, I don't think they're really good
Thank
fighters
you,
up there.
Missy. We're inching our way up there. We're moving. Got over 3,000 subs the other day. We hit
nice.
3,000. I'm like, we're making it.
If you're not in our Facebook group, you might have missed our picture that said "Happy Day."
Yeah, because I didn't post it. Okay, so let's see.
Aw.
I think Grandpa knows a different truth than his kids and grandkids. I think he is innocently naive. Parents know one story of what happened. It breaks my heart for Grandpa. Oh yeah, Grandpa and Dad get me a lot. I know a lot of people have that feeling with the mom, but I have it with the grandpa
Well,
and
both
the
are
dad.
grandpas.
Yeah.
Both
But what do you
grandpas.
mean by get me? Like, what do you
They
mean?
make
by
me
that?
in my feels like I want to make sure
Yeah,
that they're okay.
me too. Them too.
Both
Yeah.
are grandpa. Wait. Actually, let me ask a question. The grandpa that was there the day with the picture where he's staring off into the water and he wouldn't leave, is that the same grandpa? Is the grandpa that's in the video when they found the laptop and stuff?
That's
the same
mom's
grandpa?
dad.
Okay.
Mom.
For some reason, I
Mom's
thought that the dad's dad was with him that day when they found her, and it wasn't the same one, but I might be totally wrong.
I kind of love
It is. Oh, it is. I think you misunderstood. I think Teresa misunderstood what you're saying. The one when you talking about on AWP's video?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's the other grandpa.
Okay. Yeah. So
That's
both
mom's
the
dad.
grandpas,
Yeah. That's
both
Mom.
the grandpas were very.
She was asking the one that within Checkit TVs is a different one than the one that was
That's
there when
Dad's
AW3.
dad?
That's not
Wait,
Mom.
now you're confusing me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
on
confusing
Checkit
myself
TV,
now.
That is mom's dad. That's her maternal grandfather. And on AWP's video, that's her paternal grandfather, her dad's dad.
I didn't know
think so. I
who
think
was
they're
who,
both the
but I
same
know they're
grandpa.
two different. Really? I thought they were two different. The one, no, they're I don't know.
AWP video is Lindsay's father, and then
Really?
Kylie's dad. Now the Checkit TV one, I don't know. I didn't see that, so I don't know
I'm gonna have to go back and look now.
who's there for
I
that.
don't
Me
know.
too.
Yeah,
like
now
the
we're all
one
like,
that
okay,
we
now we gotta know. Does
They're,
somebody
like,
in
working
chat
this
know
case
100%?
together, because I feel like they have the
I
same
think it's
theory.
two different guys. Why am I picturing like I have two different?
I see two different guys in my head too, and my head's usually
Yeah.
right.
You have to be right.
Oh, yes.
I know. Oh, Queen Feline, I know. Grandpa's sitting there just waiting. I think that's probably why I can't let go.
Yeah.
Did he put that video back up then, or is it still down? Oh, Amanda, what's up? All right, let me see.
You know what, you guys? I gotta keep it real. Like the other day when I had to leave early, no, I left. I just like paused my microphone so I could make my son lunch, because he was homesick. And then right then is when Teresa played the video of Sammy at the press conference when she had the mic, and I can't believe I missed that part because I listened to it today and almost tore my ears off. They were like bleeding. I had everything to say about that.
Everything.
Teresa, pull the clip.
Pull the clip. So I sat down and I started to do like a compilation of all Sammy's stuff. And her voice irritated me so much I had to stop. And people are gonna be like, "Don't be so mean to Sammy." I'm sorry I have a lot of issues with the whole situation. I'm not going on her social media and yelling at her and being mean to her, but I still have issues. And I had to stop making the compilation. And then I saw that a channel called Deets on the Street. Deets on the Street.
They clip it. Yeah, I see that they
put it all together, and I was like, "Thank you."
Oh, they did that. Oh, I thought you were just okay.
No, so they put all of them together, and I was like, "Oh God, I don't have to actually go back and do that."
I'm actually working on compilations
What
too a little bit.
Like astrology.
Of course you are, because our minds are like
I know.
synced.
What the heck? Huh? That's weird.
Okay, so
I want to know what zodiac sign Sammy is.
What is she? Wait, what's her birthday? Do we know?
She is bossy.
Actually.
Which one, Sammy?
Yeah, she needs to be brought down to Sammy's birthday.
I don't know if I know how. I know she's 18, but I don't know her birth. I don't know what sign she is.
What's the loudmouth sign?
What is your sign, Christine?
Shut up, Teresa.
I was waiting for it. It was coming. I gotta get you back.
Thank you for doing this. Honestly, it's been so rough getting heat and backlash for covering Kylie. So have you guys covering it with Zab. Thank you. It makes me feel not so alone. Well, I think that there's a part of us that just is like, it's almost like you're stuck until you can get past these answers that you need in your own mind to be able to move on. And everybody is different when they get to that point and what they need. You know, some people just needed her found. And that was okay. And then they'll just wait. And other people are like, no, this doesn't make sense. I need more answers. And like for me personally, it's like every day there's a new something that just gets me going. So like the other day it was the Jagger article, from the Sun that he was, that he had been cleared by Nevada County. I couldn't. And then, you talk about it and then people are like, well, it's the Sun. And then you're like, yeah, I know. But then I'm like, it's in quotes. So that makes it really hard. And so I got to talk about it. I got to talk out loud. And Christine's like, I don't know. I don't know about talking about Kylie. And I'm like, I can't stop. I can't let it go.
I'm ready to amend my answer because I got ripped to shreds in the comments the other day about my opinion.
Did you really?
About it. Well, a little bit. I felt a little bit attacked. That like I didn't want to like hear the truth, and that true crimers deserve like to have completion and closure at the end of the case. And I agree. Like I totally agree because I'm also like a follower. I hate to say fan for true crime, but whatever. It's interesting to me. So like I do also need that completion and that closure. But here's the thing about Kylie's case: the more answers that have been coming to me like the past few days, talking it over with like listening to the panel with Teresa and stuff, the more things that are like kind of slipping out now, the more questions I have now, like the more answers we get,
the more questions
I have. And I was fine before. I could have ended it there. But then the more we get answers, the more I have to say.
It is. It's like a suction cup.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, okay, I'm like, okay, so I have resolution when it comes to the Jagger thing. And we reached out to Nevada County, got the answer. I'm like, okay, I feel good. Then the stuff with the car comes up. And there's so many people who think that the car was put into the water after the water was searched. So then I'm like, okay, how can I prove that they're either right or wrong or that I don't know? And so let's put together a whole thing of all the car stuff. And then I get stuck there. And then I spend my whole day or 24 hours don't get mad, it was maybe 27 hours or so, trying to put all the pieces together and figure out all the car stuff.
Well,
And then I'm like,
a day or two totally obsessed with that footage.
well,
For sure.
It's hard to believe. Think about this. When Checkit put his phone down into the water from the surface of the water, you could see the laptop and everything down there, right? How did they miss a car diving? Like, how did they miss it when it would be
Right.
like, and he just put his phone down and we could see it from like the surface of the water. How do you miss a car?
And I think that's kind of like where we all are. It's just, in my opinion, I just feel LA completely dropped the ball in many ways. This case deserves an honest, truthful investigation. Kylie, and all due respect to her parents, because I couldn't imagine being in this nightmare. But Kylie deserves to have truthful answers and to know. And if justice comes into play with this, I would like to think that the family would come back around and see why we cared so much and why we can't let it go. It's kind of, for me, that's where it all. It's the investigation.
I want to make sure that I go over Verna's comment because, and thank you, Verna, for the super chat. Dad was there the 3-day waiting on the divers, hoping to find the phone. He was even late to the memorial, hoping that she would find it.
So what does that tell you?
Are you going to put up the picture of that mystery car? Is that part of what you're going to do?
I think you're going to probably have to do that side of it. So I want to start with the dives. Okay.
We'll have to do that later.
Okay, well, I don't think I saved them, but I can. Okay, and I missed a whole bunch of comments, and you guys, I'm really, really sorry if they were like super cool. Make sure you put them in there again, because I now have to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so Checkit TV went back out today. What he was saying, like, I don't even know if the phone is here, but then when he got out there was like somebody out there, and I think he got a little weirded out. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. I'll go back later to check it out, to check it. No pun intended there, by the way. So she goes missing on the 6th, and then, which is Saturday, technically, right? Because she's seen sometime supposedly in the middle of the night on the 6th. And that's like a whole nother situation as when was she actually last seen in these Jane Does and stuff that are coming into play. But so she goes missing on the 6th. You have roadside assistance, Nick, who sees something that he thinks has to do with her situation at approximately 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock on the 6th, on Saturday. So then the searches are happening. I cannot find a water search from before the 9th. Have you been able to find anything before the 9th? Okay, so no. I'm going to go, I'll pull up the 9th so that we can look at that one.
Hey, Muffin
So,
Top.
we did talk about this search by Washoe County sheriffs. We talked about it a little bit, that they were out there on the 9th, and I was going back and forth on whether they were actually in that area or they were somewhere else. But then we got a little bit more confirmation because they do actually post that they are at Crosshair. So I'll pull them up first because that was the one that we've already talked about before. You may hear a little person in the background. He's in there playing with his dad. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have, here's Washoe. Okay, so this one was interesting. So Washoe County Sheriff's Office goes out. Search and rescue team assisted the Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday in the search for 16-year-old Truckee girl. The search is near Prosser Reservoir. The search is, and will continue on Wednesday. This part got me because I cannot find anything about them going back out on Wednesday. So we know that they were out there using their equipment. Let me see if I can pull it because I have the closer shots of what they were actually using. So they're out there on the 9th, confirmed by them. We also have, let me see, that's the 15th.
Wait. Teresa, Wednesday would be the 10th. Oh, you're right. They say 13th. Never mind. You're
right. So they say they're going to continue on the 10th, but there's no footage anywhere I can find that shows anybody searching the water on the 10th.
No, I haven't been able to find it either. I just checked Twitter, freaking their webpage, Facebook. I just found what you found. So wonder if why they changed it, if they changed it to the 13th. Huh.
So like, did something happen that they couldn't go back out there?
I know. I don't know.
Okay, let me pull this one. So then you have this is when on the 9th as well, and it has Placer County. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that. So this is the Placer County Sheriff that's out there also on the 9th. And to make sure everybody's aware, it is at Prosser Creek Reservoir. So you have 2 different dive teams out there on the 9th that we have photos of.
See, check Julie's comment.
Okay, sorry that with this up, I can't. It's hard to see the comments. Let me see.
When you can. She's one more place we can check.
Right, Julie. Yeah, we're gonna go to them too, because that's another interesting thing about this whole how many people are in this literally like the exact spot. And
we
nobody
did, Teresa,
sees
we
anything.
checked Alameda, remember though? We checked the Alameda dive team.
Right, that's what I said. We'll go to that one because they're not there yet.
Okay.
Let me pull this one back up. So then this one,
You're right.
let me go down here because I think I can just switch it over. So this one talks about a dive team from the Nevada County Sheriff's Department was on site early Tuesday morning and was seen setting up in a spot next to the reservoir, southeast or southwest of the camping area and accessible by a dirt trail. So this to me still looks like the same boat, the Placer County Sheriff boat, but this article is saying that the Nevada County Sheriff's Department had a dive team there. This is also still the 9th. So then you have the Sheriff's Department sets up the forensic tents at Prosser Creek. So they're literally right there on the ramp, the area that's right there, and launched mini submarines fitted with cameras in a bid to find Kylie's SUV. So here they're stating that they are on the 9th physically searching for her vehicle.
But they're on the other side. Wonder if they made it to the other side. The ramp's on the other side.
Okay, so we have now a possible, we know 2 and maybe a third because they're saying Nevada County's there. Then you have Washoe that goes back out on the 13th. I'll pull that one up. So Washoe goes back out on the 13th, and you can see that they're with the Rescue Hasty Dive team and the Incident Management team. So we know that Alameda County, which is actually not very close, also sent divers there, which we'll go further into that too. So the Washoe County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue Hasty Dive Team and Incident Management Team were requested to assist the California Office of Emergency Services today in the continuing search effort for missing Truckee teenager Kiely Rodni.
Thank you, Zena. And yeah.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, let me see what she said. Ellie is not this sloppy. They protect their own. Who are they allegedly protecting? And how many kids have parents in Ellie and justice system? We know what occurs internally. Let them know you are watching. Yeah, that's why I'm like, if we put it all together, then there is no denying that this is what happened. You can see that there are physically 2 dive teams in that area on the 9th. Now we're going to the 13th, and supposedly they were back on the 10th. Now we're going to the 13th, and you now have this dive team back again, and you have Alameda County there. Let me grab that.
But remember, Alameda County was looking for the phone, not the car, on that day.
So, yeah. So let's go. Let's pull that up.
Tyler's call. Yeah, it's interesting, but that was just weird what they said. How they wouldn't let him go back out and search.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I put that in here too, so we can look at that too. So where's the one from the 13th? I went and saved all these photos, and of course did not put them in the right order, and now they're all over the place.
Mine never. They never save in the right order. I hate it. I don't understand. I'll have them in the right order, and I move them to a file, and they just go everywhere.
And then they're just all over. Now I'm like, okay, and I'm looking at these little tiny pictures, and I'm like, I swear it's in here. I know I stuck it in here.
It's crazy.
I will find it though. So that's placer. Okay, here we go. And I'm sorry, you guys, when I have that other screen up, I can't see chat. Hi, Pointer Lover.
Hey, Pointer Lover.
Let me pull it back up again. So this one, and this has been like kind of like the talk of the town for at least, you know, the last 24 hours, 48 hours or so. But this is from August 13th as well. So Tyler made a phone call last night to Alameda County and was asking them about like this whole search and whatnot. And the guy was going to call him back, and so I think he'll probably go over that sometime this weekend if he got the phone call back. And then, but Christine, when I brought this picture to her, I'm like, how are they like right here? They're right next to the car. How are they that close to the car and they don't see it? Because this is right off of Prosser as well. And Christine, you want to say what you told me? Did she leave us?
Christine,
oh, she did. Of course, she left. She left right when I needed her. There she is.
I didn't mean to just leave like that. I meant to say goodbye. I was ahead of myself.
Oh, well, you're supposed to be telling your story about what you thought about this picture when I shared it with you.
This picture. Oh, yeah. Well, what did you say about it to me? I don't remember what.
That they were searching for the car and how close they were to the car.
Oh, yeah. And I said that, well, I think on like the very first Kylie live that we had done, I had said that I thought the reason that they missed the car was because they weren't even looking for the car. Because in my opinion, I had thought that like the FBI became involved so quickly because it was hot August nights right at that weekend. So there's like a ton of out of towners. And because of the possibility that it went over state lines so quickly and her age, I just thought there was a lot of reasons why FBI could have been involved. And I didn't think they were looking for her car. I thought they were looking for her phone in there.
You're right. You were right, though. Good job.
Let me see what Run the World said.
Because that's just a big thing for law enforcement to miss.
Yeah.
I think that they weren't looking for it in the first place.
Okay, so this is absolutely Prosser, and I will show you why I know that. And Zav, I'm sure, will take this photo, and she will match it up and line by line, and you guys will be able to 100% see that this is Prosser.
It's the
I almost was going to ask you to do that today. I was like, can you do that tonight, like on your live?
I will. I kind of started doing it, but I was doing like a million things, but I kind of started like eyeing.
It's that like tree line, the tree patches, like past the like beach area.
Yeah, the tree line. Yep, that's the key.
Yeah, it's right there. I was like, you know, you can play around with it, but it's definitely right there. So let me go in and show you that this is Prosser.
Thank you, Green Eyes.
That echoed. That was my son. Sorry.
Y'all, my daughter is this is her first year of high school cheer, and this is her first time tonight. She's going to be cheering with varsity, like in the varsity. Also, like all the girls, the whole squad, and she's going to be doing halftime, and she's the flyer, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be so much. I'm always more nervous than she is, I'm sure, and I always cry during like the big ones like this.
Take videos. Send them.
Don't cry though. Don't embarrass her.
Well, I don't cry like I'm wailing my heart out. Like it always kind of gets me because like I think about like I'm watching it for me and her dad at the same time and how proud he'd be, and she's just a good girl, everyone.
Babe.
I'm so proud.
She's a very sweet girl.
She's beautiful too. So good
I
luck to
love
Christine's
it.
daughter tonight.
Yeah, everybody cross your fingers for us and fly high and don't fall.
She's got this.
I have to go though, guys. Love you all. Wish I could
Always
stay
love ya.
longer.
Oh, bye,
Nice to meet you,
Christine.
Dad. Next time I'll see you in chat. I know.
Okay, I will. I'll be looking for
Bye,
it. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Christine's gonna pop in. She's gonna be like, "It's me, Christine.
Okay.
Me."
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, honey. Have fun. Okay, so let me zoom in on this because you can't even see it. Can I even zoom in on it? Probably not, huh? I need more computers, Zav.
How many do you have?
One.
Oh yeah, you do need two. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, okay, Santa, I need some more computers. All right, so I'm just going to read this to you guys, but I want you guys to know that this is Prosser because I saw that a ton too, which is another reason that I can't get out of the darn rabbit hole of Kylie's case because I see that's not Prosser, that's Prosser. So now I'm like, okay, well, is that Prosser? Is that not? So now I've got to dig for every bit of information I can find and see if it's Prosser. And I'll link this if I haven't already. I'll link it in the chat too. So, or not the chat, the description. Okay, so this is dated August 13th. It's been a solid week since 16-year-old Truckee teen Kiely Rodni disappeared from a party at Prosser Family Campground. Yet authorities are no closer to finding her than they were when the initial report came. With over 9,000 hours invested in the search, the effort continues to be exhaustive and has intensified with the arrival of the weekend. The mood was somber at today's press briefing. Shared last night, discovery of a possible burial site, so on. So we know that ended up being the dog. The family was notified. We have one team, one mission, and one goal, even though there are 16 agencies at that time. The efforts have ramped up for the weekend and confirmed that the search continues by foot and on and air and boat, and this includes the ATVs, the canines, the dive teams, so on and so forth. Okay, so then you have there's the helicopter. So you have spotted a dive team from the Alameda County Sheriff's Office out at Prosser Lake, not far from the site of the party. Divers in full scuba gear submerged themselves into the water to look for any sign of Kylie or her missing Honda CR-V, while a short distance down the shoreline, recreating families looked on. So this is them talking about Prosser. We don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate. I think we've been reasonable with the areas and times we've had to put in stop gaps to prevent people from moving around. We do that based off the information. So this was the Prosser boat ramp was closed while the vicinity was searched. So they're talking about that they are at the where'd it go? The Alameda was searching Prosser Lake, not far from the site of the party. And that's this photo. So it is Prosser. Oh, and what's going on with Autumn? Everybody's saying Autumn Renee. Hi, Brian. I think I missed something in chat, but sorry, guys, I missed something while I was reading that.
Everything okay?
Yes, we love our Zav. See, look at all that love. All the love. Okay, so now we've got, on the 13th, we've now got Alameda County, you've got Washoe County. Or, Washoe County Sheriff. So, and then Christine was going to show this, so it's going to take me just a minute to load. But I'm going to show, so SF Investigates goes out and takes the drone footage. So why this is important to me is because if people think that this isn't an accident, and she didn't just go in the water, and that she went in the water at some other time. So if she's quote unquote seen on Saturday, or her car is seen on Saturday, then we're not searching until the 9th. We continue searching supposedly on the 10th. We're also searching on the 13th. SF Investigates goes out on the 17th. So if they didn't find the car and they think that the car was put in after Ellie searched the waters, it would have to be put in sometime between or at night on 8/13 to the morning of 8/17. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So then you have to look now, if you narrow it down, you can easily go through anything that we can find from the 13th to the 17th that shows what was happening at that area and whether they would have had an opportunity to drive a car back there.
Is that a week? Let me see what days of the week that is.
So that's Saturday, because Saturday is the 13th. It's my son's birthday.
Okay.
So this is that Sunday, Monday, 14th and 15th.
It's like the weekend. And then there's, I mean, no, I guess they would have. They could go really late, don't you think? Like when everybody's probably sleeping, and I don't know.
I remember in the very beginning, they talked about the first 48, basically, those first 48 hours that no one was really paying too much attention to. So, and even when they questioned why the car could have been put there in the first place with the whole, I believe there's a fire, something close by and all that. And again, it's just that panic and they move. So it's just, it's unexplainable. And then when, it's just, I'm having a hard time with that one.
So nobody got drone footage before that, huh?
That's the first drone footage I know of. Unless LE has it, and then we haven't ever seen it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we won't see it.
So what about news footage of a helicopter? We know that the helicopter was flying around all these areas, the sheriff's helicopter, but what about news helicopters? Were they allowed to fly in that area? Is there any helicopter footage from that time frame?
I could try to look. I don't remember seeing any though on the news until after, but let me see.
Right. Makes me ill that they're fishing where the divers could have looked. So this was a good point that Christine made, and why I wanted to talk about this photo too, is she was adamant that they're not looking for a car, that they're looking for the phone. And we got in a little back and forth about it. We call it a disagreeable. So we were back and forth about whether this could actually be possible, because if they're diving and looking for a phone, aren't they going to look for, and they're going to run across a car, right? I mean, like, you're looking for a little tiny thing, you're going to run across a big thing. And then her point was, no, because they're not going to look out far enough for where the car would have gone. They're going to look closer to shore where somebody could physically throw a phone.
I agree.
And so I'm like, okay. So I give her that win. And then I'm like, but that, once again, why would you be looking for the phone and not looking for the car then? Because then you're automatically assuming, and then this goes back into the whole rabbit hole of Kiely Rodni's case. If you're only looking for the phone, you're assuming that the car isn't there. And what information do you have that's making it so that the car is not there? And you're only looking for a phone and not a car.
That's true. And so early on, they wouldn't have been like, oh, well, they've been thoroughly searched. So we know. No, yeah, that would have been so early for them to assume there's no car in there. Huh.
Yeah, why wouldn't they be looking for the car?
Yeah.
But so we have these articles that are coming out and they're saying, oh yeah, they're looking for any sign of Kylie, and they're looking for any sign of Kylie in her SUV. But these are those are the news reporters that are saying what they're looking for. And like to Christine's point, those guys aren't out looking for a car. They're most likely looking for a phone.
I agree with her.
Let me see. Oh, hi, BG. Thank you.
You're welcome, BG.
Berna says, all of the divers were looking within 65 feet. I don't know why that number, but there must be some kind of info. See, Berna, that is so interesting to me. They're all looking within 65 feet of the shore, but she's within 65 feet. So if they are looking for a car, and I don't know the statistics on cars going into the water, on how far out they would end up going. So that's not a question I would be able to answer. I don't know, do you guys happen to know that? Like, on average, what's the car go out in the water to?
No, but that's probably how wait, Verna, how do you know they were looking 65 feet? Huh. So
Sluethie says that's still within the zone. the zone of where a car would go. Oh, this is interesting. Verna said, I have no idea. They just had tape measures out there. If she was 55 feet out, then they would have found her. If they were looking within 65 feet, even if they were looking for the phone, they couldn't have missed the car. That was my point too. So then, but to Christine's point was they wouldn't be searching that far out if they were looking for just the phone, because the phone isn't going to be 55 feet out. The thing is that she's probably farther than 65 feet because the water goes down about 2 foot a day there. If it goes, and it would it have gone down 2 foot a day from August 6th until August 21st? At that time of year, does it go down about 2 feet, or is that now? You know, you see what I'm saying? Because if you do that, then you've got, that's
they said about 15 feet. It was because they said it went down like a foot or two of water depth, which is like 15, average 15 feet on the shoreline is what they said. I remember hearing that at the beginning. So that would kind of change, you know, it'd be 55. So the car was found 55 feet. So possibly 65 feet. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Because of the weight of the car.
Because of the weight of the car and the length and the probable trajectories. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still in the auto zone. Let's see. So probably trying to stop before they get to where she is, because 55 plus 20 minus 25. Remember? Okay. So then that's it. That also begs the question then, if these guys are told, okay, we need you to go search the, you know, the first 15 feet or 20 feet and find whatever, then where was that? Then how far out would she have been from where they really were the day they were searching, if it is receding at a rate of about 2 feet per day off the shore? You see what I mean?
No, I wasn't following. What? So ask that again real quick.
So if, I don't know, it sounded really complicated. I don't even know if I can repeat it, Zav. So if they're searching and we're saying, okay, so they have a 15 to 20 mile or 20 foot, you know, area that they're going to search out to the water to find whatever, computers, phones, whatever they're looking for, because they're given like a perimeter to look for a phone, because as Christine would say, they're not looking for the car, so they're closer to the shore because they're looking for what could be thrown into the water. So then you have to look at, if it has receded by 2 foot per day off the shore, then how far out were they actually from the car the days they were physically searching?
Okay, I see.
You see what I mean?
Let me see.
So they're basically much further back from where the car would be. So we can think that they're like, you know, 15, 20, 25 feet from the car, but in reality, they're actually more like 40 to 50 feet away from the car.
Let me see.
I see it. That is a lot. That's a lot.
Let's see. Zena says, Ellie can get a warrant for satellite images for specific dates and times. However, will they use that resource? That's a great question. There is, you know, I should pull it up. I think I have it. I'll play around with that later. But where it has like instant satellite imagery, instead of like Google Earth that gives you like, okay, this was taken, you know, 3 months ago. It's supposed to be more real time.
Yeah. I'm with
That's a lot of math. What the reason I told Zav that is because Zav is really good at math. So she's probably writing the equation out right now.
But what I'm wondering is, though, when they say like they're 25 feet out or 55, are they measuring it that day then? They're saying they're 25 feet out that day that they were out there. Or are they doing it from where it was when Kylie went in? You know what I'm saying? They're doing it from that day, right?
Are they doing it from the 13th? Or are they doing it from the 6th? Yes.
Oh, you don't
exactly.
know. Huh.
So how much further out would they have been?
But what do you think, though? Do you think they're doing it from that day, or are they going back to when?
I think they're doing 20 whatever feet or 15 feet from that day.
That day, it's like the 13th then.
Right.
Okay.
So it would put them closer then. But if they're not, then it puts them even further. If they're like, hey, the water level was here, and we want you to go, you know, 15 feet out from that day, then are they just going, and it's probably not 15 feet. That's a made up number, so people don't go running with 15 feet. I'm just using it as an example. If they're giving them that perimeter.
Sluethie said the 6th, he said.
Hold on, now my stuff's not even wanting to scroll at all. The 6th, he said.
Thank you, Big Al. Thank you.
Hey, Big Al, the water levels are public info on USGS, and it has a graph for Prosser. So you can actually see then where the water levels would have been on each day. You should write that down. We should look at that later.
Yeah, because I need to know. I don't know what it went from the 13th to when they found like the 21st. I don't know. I just know that they said it was about 15 feet of shoreline from the day. Or wait, they did say that. When were they comparing it? The day they found her or the day? I don't know. I have to go back and look at what they said.
So I think that's what Sluethie was saying.
You see, okay, hold on. Maybe I could do that because I could figure it out if I just know for sure what day it was. What, you know?
Sluethie, is that what you're saying was the 6th?
The 6th.
Sluethie. Yes. How did it get that far out? Oh, Melmac heard Ursa. Yeah, she's barking in the background. They're wrestling around. So by now her car would be showing in her stuff very soon. See that? Yes. So she would be found. Which also, I mean, do the kids in the area know that goes down every year, or is that just like an adult thing? Because I actually wondered that myself. Like, if this is very common every year, then are the kids just oblivious to that? Because why would you hide the car in the water that you know is going to be empty? Because it is a reservoir. It fills Lake Tahoe.
Wait, Sluethie just said.
She's getting her transcript. Okay.
USC. Do you remember what that website was? UCS something? Does anybody remember?
Yep,
oh, wait,
right here. USGS.
SGS.
Water levels are public info on USGS. Thank you, Big Al.
Thanks, Big Al.
Okay. All I know is, as a California taxpayer, I'd ask for a refund for what I pay for LE since they fail in their duties or farm out their duties to inexperienced children. I am a California taxpayer, FYI. Let's see. And then Brian said, oh, hold on. Sophia, sheriff's deputies set up a forensics tent on a ramp into Prosser Creek Reservoir and launched mini submarines fitted with cameras in a bid to find Kylie's SUV on 8/10. So I wonder, thank you, Sophia. I wonder if that's then the Washoe Sheriff's County that was doing this. That's 8/10? Because I know the other one was a tent that they had put up the day before on the 9th. Okay, and then, yeah, so I'll reactivate my account to request the live satellite imagery specific times. Okay, I was like, I know I know there is one. I don't know if I still have my account active or not. I used to, but I haven't paid attention to it for a while. It's probably something I should play around with and get actually on.
Thank you, Zena. Thank you.
And you guys can pull up the map when they're searching before she was found. It shows where they all were searching right there in the water. So that's kind of my thing. If they're all searching right there in the water and nobody finds the car, then that gives credence to the ones who think that the car was put in after. And so you have to narrow down your search field to between the 13th. Washoe. What did I say? Washoe? Do I say Washoe? Washoe? Am I saying it wrong? Washoe. Okay, Berna, I got it. Washoe. There's a picture, but that's the one from the 9th. I have that picture. That's the one I just had up. Let me go back and pull it back up.
Sluethie wants to send you something.
Okay. Washoe.
But Teresa, I would say Washoe too, because look how it's spelled. It's spelled like shoe.
Washoe.
I don't.
Washoe. CBK
Right?
says,
There's
bless
an
you,
E
Teresa.
on it.
Bless you. That's what it sounds like, as a sneeze. Or I want to say like Washoe something.
Yeah.
Washoe stuff. Did you say Sluethie wants to send something? Let me see.
Yeah, she wants to know the best place to send it.
Criminality187@gmail.com.
Wanted to email it. I'll
Or if you want, you can do it on Facebook. You can do it on Facebook. It's Teresa Steffens on Facebook. I don't think there's any other of me on there. I think I'm the only one with my name, Steffens. Okay, let me see. So do you guys think they were actually searching by the boat ramp? Because in the beginning, that's where everybody was saying the phone pinged. I would think so. Because
wait. I didn't even think about that. If they knew where the phone pinged, why were they searching by the boat ramp? Huh.
But according to SF Investigates, he says that the phone pinged when he was on, was it either yours or was it Glaire's? When he was on, he said the phone pinged right there on the other side of that little waterway.
What other side of what? Like on the same side or on the boat ramp side?
Well, you know, like how there's that little strip of water right there. He was talking about that it pinged right by that little strip of water. I don't think that water's there anymore. I think that water's gone.
But the boat ramp's on the other side though. So
right.
I wonder.
So I'm almost positive SF says that the phone pinged exactly right there. Now you can take that for whatever you want. We don't have proof of it, but.
I don't know.
Let's see. Hi, Clayton. Washo. Everybody's in there. Washo.
LFT is going to send you a news clip of what she thinks we're looking for.
Hi, Kez Chick. Okay, LFT is going to send me something too. Okay, let me see.
Yep. And if you can, check out Sluethie's comment.
Okay, I'm still headed down there. I still say the phone is in Boca in the water. RS guy said he serviced the car in Boca. But I don't understand, then why wouldn't she have been able to charge her phone in the car? If it was her car, her charger's there, right?
If it's dead, I mean, if the phone, I mean, if the car is dead, right? The battery's dead, you can't charge the phone, right?
But the car wasn't actually dead, it was just in neutral.
That's right. We don't even have confirmation. I'm going off of, yeah.
But maybe somebody took her phone. Whoever took her phone, turned it off, didn't let her use it. That's why there's no signal after that. You know, do you think that? So therefore she just didn't have it because they didn't give her access, or something happened there at Prosser and then it was two other people. Is that what you're asking, Teresa? Since it pinged at Prosser and that was the last, right? So if
that was always my issue with her car being able to, with them taking the car. So if the phone is put there, okay, so let me back up. So they say that the phone is off at 12:33. It was turned off, but they've never really confirmed whether it was actually like a hard shut off or if it was just turned off, right?
Yeah, they never confirmed like what that meant. They just said there was no signal coming from it, but they couldn't say exactly what that meant. No, they never did.
So then, but if they are having people actually searching the water for the phone, then that means that they know the phone went in the water and it was a hard shut off. Otherwise, they would know that the phone was turned off and it wouldn't be in the water. They wouldn't search the water. They'd be searching on the land. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see, but I just don't know what the difference would look like to them. The hard, like, what if it just went in the water? What would it look like?
It would be a hard shut off.
Okay.
So then that way they would know that it was like it was completely killed. The phone is dead to the world now at this point. Otherwise, it's just turned off or the battery's dead. That's my understanding of like the difference between the hard shut off versus just the phone being off.
Well, how long would it take for a water? She had an iPhone what? I'm not sure what iPhone, but how long would it take when it goes underwater for it to just like ruin it where it just has no signal? Do they last a while?
I've seen a couple different reports, all from Apple Techs. Some say 20 minutes, some say half hour. And it can go down, I believe, as much as, and I could be 20 to 30 feet, I believe, before it even attempts to do the hard shut off.
That makes no sense then in that timing. 12:33. You know, if it's an accident, that makes no sense because it wouldn't have shut off.
That phone off? Yeah. What shut that phone off at 12:30, 12:33, and that Sammy spoke to her at 12:36.
Yeah, there's no way. Even if Sammy spoke to her at 12:25, Elsa saw her at 12:30. How would it already be off at 12:33 if it like she did just drive into the water? It would if it takes like 20 minutes. I don't know.
So the iPhone 12's IP68 rating means it can survive up to 19.6 feet of water for 30 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, but that's
okay.
still
Wait
not
a minute.
We don't know what happened if it hit the water and what it actually did. Was it maybe already dying to begin with on 3? My daughter's phone is always on 3%, so it wouldn't, you know.
Hold on a second though, but that makes me really think of something.
What?
Big Al, you probably have already put this together, so you can tell me if you have. The mom says the location was last pinged at 12:03. 12:03. If the phone is shut off at some time after 12:30 at 12:33, and he's saying that the phone can last underwater for 30 minutes, 12:03 to 12:33 is 30 minutes.
Yeah, but then the people that saw her, like Sammy seen her at 12:25, Elsa seen her at 12:30, then that's all that goes out the door. So why are they lying then? You know, so then that makes it, if they're lying, then that makes me wonder if there's foul play either way, you know?
But that's really interesting, Big Al, though. If that's accurate and it's 30 minutes, 12:03 to 12:33 is literally 30 minutes. And the location was
Snapchat though. They said the Snapchat it was later. They were able to locate her on Snapchat later. Yeah,
that's right.
Like
okay,
12:30.
I remember that. Thank you for saying that. Okay, when did the Snapchat go?
12:30, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure it said 12:30 for Snapchat.
That's what I heard too.
Okay,
I think Amber was just.
Let me save this image real quick so I can pull it up.
Snapchat had a location ping too, though, after the 12:03 from the one app. There's 2 location pings. I do too. I forgot about the Snapchat too.
So I thought the 12:33 was not the Snapchat data.
I didn't think so either, but
I thought it was a totally different time.
I thought 12:30 was Snapchat, and then that's what. Well, at least in the articles, it'll say like 12:30 Snapchat, and then 12:33 is the last, signal. So that's how they worded it in a few articles. But
pinged in the same spot.
Maybe it is kind of the same. I'm not sure. That was 12:30. Yeah, she hears the party background. Snap was 12.
But that's 2 different things. Because she supposedly called her on the phone at 12:36 where she heard the party behind her.
Yeah, that is. I didn't read the first part of that.
Okay, so KA Pisces says, my phone is a 12 and it was in a hot tub this January for 12 hours and that's how I found it. It pinged to where it was. Even when I showed up to get it, it was not broke. It was dead because it needed to be charged. Okay.
But when you get deeper underwater, since it was deeper, the pressure underwater it probably.
That's what you said. It was like 19.6 feet.
Yeah, so it would lessen that time.
But it still goes. If they're specifically searching in the water, and I know that something led them to the water, that means that her phone was actually going to be in the water. That they believe her phone is in the water, right? Which also leads to SF Investigates saying that the officer asked him if he found the phone, because that's what they were looking for, was the phone.
See, check our chat with Amber when you get a second.
Okay, hold on.
This is true, Brian. Very true.
Okay, the mother and the daughter stayed in contact throughout the day and last spoke at 11:30 p.m. that night when Kylie texted to say she would be setting off on the 25-30-minute drive home from the party. She said she'd be leaving at 12:15 and was going to start heading home, said Lindsay. That was the last time she heard from her daughter. She choked back tears as Miss Rodni said they asked her daughter to wake her up when she got home. Okay. Said that her family members share cell phone location data, and so she checked her daughter's phone. The last location data was at the campground where the party took place at 12:03 a.m. She has since learned that the Snapchat data shows her cell phone at the same location around 12:30. So then around 12:30, is that the 12:33? Then that would be that the ping was the 12:33 from Snapchat. Hi, Ausane.
What's up, Ausane? I'm still trying to get on that map. It won't let me do it. That USGS. I'm trying to get the water levels. I can't figure it out.
Okay, let me see what this article is. The LFT sent. Okay, 2-minute mark, GMA 811 references LE expanding search Wednesday, August 10th, and shows them on the water. Okay, perfect. Oh. Okay, hold on. Let's show this one real quick, and then I'm going to show the other screenshot.
I agree, Muffin Top. I agree. Kylie was no stranger to freedom. And being very, kind of transparent with her mom, it seems that Lindsay was kind of okay with a lot of the, teenage shenanigans.
A California girl who vanished after a campground party. Police are treating this as a possible abduction and released a new image of the teenager just moments before she vanished. Veronica Miracle from our sister station KABC in Los Angeles has the latest. Good morning, Veronica.
Good morning, George. Investigators believe someone knows something. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. Kylie's father now begging the community for help.
She is, this community, she is your daughter too.
Overnight, Daniel Rodni speaking out for the first time since his 16-year-old daughter Kylie went missing after going to a party with hundreds of other teens at a campsite near Lake Tahoe.
This is your kids. These are the parties your kids are going to. We need answers. Please, anything. Please, I need you.
Police releasing one of the last known images of Kylie. Authorities desperately searching for leads in her possible abduction. Investigators say the Northern California teen was seen on surveillance camera visiting a local business just after 6 p.m. on Friday. She disappeared just hours later.
We're trying to find out exactly what happened at this point. We believe that someone knows, someone saw her, but they're not coming forward.
In this image, authorities say she was wearing a black bodysuit, a black studded belt, green Dickies pants, and black Vans. Additional images from the Placer County Sheriff's Office show a sweatshirt they believe is still in her possession with eerie lyrics that say, "You don't want to be forgotten, you just want to disappear." Police haven't found any correlation between the words and her disappearance.
Without somebody coming forward to potentially reveal a critical piece of information that could lead us to Kylie, we really have nothing to go off of. So we'll continue our search.
On Wednesday, law enforcement expanding their search for Rodni. Dive teams scouring this lake. Teams also searching on the ground and by helicopter.
So, there's a presumption after somebody has been gone at her age for a number of days that there might be foul play involved, but it appears they haven't found any. And so the real key is looking in logical places that she might be.
Rodni was last seen at Prosser Family Campground near Lake Tahoe, the site of a party she attended with hundreds of other teens.
I would say out of the about 300 people who were in attendance of that party, we've only been able to speak to a fraction of them.
Her best friend Sammy Smith says she was with Kylie the entire party and was the last person to contact her before she went missing.
We were going to leave together because later in the party I had asked her if she could give me a ride home, and then I realized that she was too intoxicated to give me a ride home, so I decided to try and find a different ride. We were both really drunk.
Kylie's mother
desperately reveal a critical piece of
any correlation between the words and her disappearance.
Without
I want to back up because she said it's around the 2-minute mark, and I guess I missed it. Did you see them in the water?
A critical piece of information that could lead us to Kylie. We really have nothing to go off of. So we'll continue our search.
On Wednesday, law enforcement expanding their
There you
search
go.
for Rodney.
On Wednesday.
Dive teams scouring this lake. Teams also searching on the ground and by helicopter.
So,
Yes,
there's a
okay.
presumption after somebody has been.
Okay, so on Wednesday, they're there. And there is, so we do know they went back on the water.
So that was, do you think that's the last day they were in the water, right?
I think the 13th was the last day they were in the water.
Yeah, I think so.
So it looks like they've searched the water from the 9th until the 13th with their different equipment and different teams. And I know that the Alameda County had said that that is their volunteer dive team that went out there on the 13th. So I mean, they're not like overly experienced, but I mean, they're divers. And so, but if they're given the job to go look for a phone, they're looking for the phone and they're not out diving deep to look for a car. They're looking on the shore and just right there in that area where a phone would be thrown.
Yep.
So we have the 9th, the 10th, and the 13th confirmed.
Makes me feel a little better with the 10th. I couldn't find anything.
All right. Okay. Let me see. Let me pull up what Sluethie sent me. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Hold on, let me refresh that so I can pull up that new picture. Okay, excellent. Let's see what this one is. Okay. So this is what Sluethie sent. They also said they went. They also, the reporter, they also said they went. The car was 14 feet deep. Did y'all go that far to look for the car? Captain said, yeah, some of that information is sometimes deceiving. So yeah, the car was reported at 14 or 15 feet. However, the water level since the 6th has also dropped a vertical 3.5 to 4 foot, which could be, 20 to 25 feet offshore. So a lot of things have changed in those aspects. Until we really can look into all that information and sort through it, it's difficult to say whether those factors had a play in it or not. I think it's still more important for us to debrief, look at training, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so 20 to 25 feet offshore. So that's interesting, but if these guys are out there on the 13th.
So that means they're basically searching 50 feet out of where it would have been 50 feet the day that Kylie went in, because they're searching 25 feet out. So they were searching 50. I mean, really, if the shoreline's 25 feet and they were searching 25 feet from the day it was the 13th, the water was, right? That means it's right. It'd be
so the water was 25 foot different on the 21st. So you'd have to figure out what the water difference would have been if it is an average of 2.
Shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So you have to go the 6th. So they have the 7th to the 13th. So you have 5 days at 2 foot. That's 10 foot. So you're looking at if they're searching 25 feet out, they searched 35 feet. Because the first 10 foot on the 13th would be shore now, would be sand and be dirt.
35 feet. Okay, so you think it was about 10 feet? You're saying after...
If it is really, like Verna was saying, it goes down 2 foot per day on average.
Oh, she said 2 foot per day. I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, she said it's about 2 foot per day, which then if you go with that, they're saying 20 to 25 feet. It is close to 2 foot per day because you have the 21st to the 6th. And then you have, what's that, 11, 15 days, which would be 30. So it's probably 1.33333 per day. You can write all of those numbers down so you can math later, Zav.
I know I'm trying to find maps. I've been trying to find like maps. I found a map, but it shows the water levels, but it doesn't show what day is what. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Big Al
So-
says you need a tape measure at current water level and a level to the point on the bank to show where the shoreline was. Yeah.
Seriously.
And then where would the phone have pinged? Would the phone have pinged in the water then? I guess we don't know because we don't know where the phone is. So could the phone have actually pinged in the water? I remember at the beginning of this that there was talk that the phone pinged like half water, half land. I was like, I don't know how you do that, but Sluethie, I can't see what emojis those are. Are those like Everyone said, when I was there the day we actually measured it, and it went down 1.75, but it does vary.
That's also, I believe, what they told Nick when Nick was searching the other side, right? That it was down 2 feet and lowest it's been all summer.
Right.
Now, what day was that?
What day was that?
Was that the first day? Well, they found it the first day. That was the.
Okay, so let me pull these up real quick. I want to look through them. She uploaded these for me real quick, but she's the one who knew the timestamp, so I hate to like go through too much of it, but I want to see if we can find in SF Investigates the drone footage that shows that you can see the car. And this is the other thing. So if he's taken this drone footage on the 17th, it starts being uploaded that night on the 17th. So according to him, he took it that day and starts uploading it that night, and then it gets continuously uploaded the next few days. And he says that there are people who took screenshots of the car that they found in his in the video because he hadn't like gone through every little bit of it, and they took screenshots and sent it to LE. So did they just never go back out there and search it? Pull this back up.
Well, wasn't that right before, like literally right before AWP came out? Like AWP was coming in that he mentioned that? I think I remember when he actually posted that onto his Twitter. He's talking about his drone footage when he was out there, and that's when I thought the screenshots started popping up. But I thought AWP was
okay. Boca was 820.
26.
That means car number. Not at 14 foot, expert said, would have blocked the signal. Okay, good to know. Criminality, and you would never know if it was in the water. That was my thought too. I was like, how does anybody gonna say that there would be like it would be half in water, half not? Sleepless in Seattle says, I saw today at the press conference after she was found, they said they didn't necessarily search Prosser. But that's one of the things that we're talking about. It's like they obviously are searching Prosser. Are they saying, is Nevada County saying Nevada County didn't search Prosser? Because they have all these other people that are doing it. Big Al, I saw her. She just sent me that updated timeline. I'm going to pull it in just a second. I just wanted to look at this first. I have scoured my footage before posting, but that's just me, though. I know. Especially if you do think something's out there. Real Rockin' Robin says she emailed you the water levels, Zav.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Also reported on 810 by CBS, FBI ramps up the involvement in the search for missing teen Kiely Rodni. More than 50 federal agents are now working alongside local sheriff and rescue or search and rescue teams on August 10th. See, that's what I'm saying. But so is there any search after the 13th? Because then if you have the last water search that we know of being the 13th, they don't find her till the 21st, but we know that on SF's footage, you can see the car, and he filmed it on the 17th. It narrows down the window that they would have been able to put a car in the water, if that's what happened. Yeah, because he told people to go screen record because he's gonna delete all the footage. Well, I have Christine, she took all that. She's got all that under control. Why is the PI helping to try to cover up the case and slander AWP? I think that they just see things from two totally different perspectives. And being in true crime, it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just so used to it. I don't pay too much attention to it anymore. They literally just see things from two totally different perspectives. And I don't know why they would ever want to fight with each other in the long run, because what's going to happen is one of them is going to be quote unquote right and the other one's going to be quote unquote wrong. And that's just how it's going to go. So I wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily have that fight. Kez Chick, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Brittany says there's an article on 8/8 where they say they are casing the bottom of Boca and Prosser. Can you send me that? On 8/8, that they're casing the bottom of Boca and Prosser. Okay. So he says Nevada County was only searching, they weren't investigating. So how did they clear Jagger early in the investigation? Also clear him from what she was only missing and could have run away. Well, I think that they cleared him of having any involvement in anything because they probably proved that he wasn't around or wasn't there, and they did an alibi. Now, if they find out that she was alive for 5 days or something like that, then I think it would be a whole nother story. But if she disappears on the 6th, I don't think it really matters whether they had found her yet or not, only because he's completely not in that area whatsoever at all, like at any time. So I guess they'd have to be able to show that she went that direction. You know what I mean?
I think with having these multiple agencies onto this case, it made a lot of this happen and made it even easier for that to happen. And that's kind of where we're cleaning that up, so to speak. But all those little stumps are coming from that, because one agency can just say, oh, no, wait, that was here. No, they said that a month ago, but that we were just investigating. We were, searching. We were part of everybody. And that's kind of where we are now.
So Teresa, I figured it all out. If I did it right, where they were searching for the phone at 25 feet, it would have been, by the time they found the car, it would have been 43.34 feet. So that's how far away they would have been from the car. And if they were just searching 25 feet and back, then, but 43 feet, that's not that much. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Michelle.
You're good. I forgot. I knew you were over there doing the math.
Yeah, so because it's 11.66 a day.
Okay.
Or not a day. Hold on. I said that wrong. Hold
I was like,
on.
wait a minute, 11.66 a day? I'm like, now we got no water.
No,
the water is
hold
gone.
on. I have all this. Hold on. I'm gonna.
Jelly Bean, I have not seen the search map that the searchers used. I found a snippet of it that shows that they searched the water where the car was found. The only map I remember from the beginning that they released was that area that they basically said, like, this is where we're searching, kind of stay out of this area. And it did include the waterways, but I don't know of another map. If there's a different one, let me know.
It's 1.66. Sorry, I said that wrong.
I figured that. So it's 1.66 a day.
If you take it, if it's 25 feet, if that guy was right, the captain was right. Wasn't the captain that said that? If he was right, what he said about the water, yeah.
Okay.
So, but I'm gonna look over it and try to make sure I got everything right. Now
I know you will. I have absolute faith. I have absolute faith in you. Mr. E says they cleared him just like they cleared the water, right? Yeah. This is another big one that I keep getting all the time. Is like, how do they clear somebody when they say they cleared the water and they missed it?
Unless if it was put there after, Teresa, then they thought they did clear it. I mean, what do you think the chances that it was put there after the 13th?
I think that this is most likely an accident.
No, I didn't know that. Oh, you do?
Well, I do. I mean, I continuously say the whole, like, statistically, this is a young girl who went to a party, drank, and then tried to drive home and got in an accident. So I was probably at the beginning of this more like an 80-20-ish, that it was an accident and maybe something kind of fishy. I'm now closer to like 50-50, maybe even 40 accidents, 60 something fishy. But every day there's something else that makes me go, this is fishy. There's something off with this. And going through and knowing that how often they were searching literally right there, because perspective wise, I kind of was just thinking there's all this body of water, they're searching all of this. I'm sure they kind of searched, they did like a little scan or whatever. But I going through like even this kind of stuff, I'm like, they literally searched there, not just one person, not just one team, not just the volunteers. you've got, supposedly you've got Washoe County, you've got Placer County. The one says that Nevada County was there. We don't see that picture, but they say they were there, the dive team. And then you've got Alameda County. So even if that one team was volunteers, you have 4 different sets of law enforcement divers in this area, and we have pictures of them literally right there. That bothers me. And then I go, and then there was a guy, and I actually have the video. I was going to play that video too in a little bit, but there's a guy who went through and he did like a, I don't even know how, it was not a reenactment because that's not the right word, but he lined out exactly how the car was, exactly how it turned over, exactly when they flipped it back over, exactly like when things would have broken, and exactly how they pulled it out of the water. And he was talking about the window, and remember how Nick, when he's down there, says that the passenger side window is broken out, but we don't see any glass. There's no glass in the car. And how many channels have gone through that footage now? And Amanda's Vita, like, I totally have faith in everything that she found in there. She found all kinds of stuff that I didn't know what, that some freaking bralette and weird shit. So I'm like,
it was busted out
no
before.
glass.
I think it was busted out before the car went in the water. I do, because there wasn't any. Is that what you're saying?
So it's one of 2 things. The window is completely down as she drives in, and then she doesn't go out that window, doesn't go out the window we know is half down, which is the back one. So now you got, because we went back and forth, and if it was busted out, did it bust out when it hit the ground, when it started to flip, when it started to do this, when it started to do, what I mean? We went back and forth on how did it actually get busted out. But now I'm like, is that even relevant? Because if it's not busted, it's down. And if it is busted, there's no glass there, which means it was busted somewhere else. So how did she not get out of the car? How did she end up in the back when there's now 2 different windows? So AWP has said, like, it goes down really fast, the water starts coming in, but now she's got 2 different options. But if she's intoxicated, but then I'm going to go back to that, and I'm sorry, Chad, I'm not paying attention to you guys, I apologize, but I'm going to go back to the intoxicated. Who's told us that she drank? How do we know she drank? Who told us she drank?
Sammy. Elsa supposedly said she looked intoxicated, Sammy, and just some random people that said that they seen her there. They didn't know her. We don't know if it's hearsay. Like, oh, my kids were there. They said she was drunk, or I was there. She was stumbling, but I don't know her. But that's hearsay. But I would say Sammy and Elsa.
Do we trust Sammy or Elsa? You're muted, honey. You're going for it, but you're totally muted. I see you've got something good to say too.
All the time.
I do that.
Then I'll forget. I think that Sammy brought that up for a reason. Sammy made it a point to say, everything Kylie drank, I drank too. I think there was no doubt that Kylie was very, very much intoxicated, and possibly even something else. If, that's what these parties are known for. This is what they do. I hate to even say it. Why wouldn't she be? They all, in a sense, they're not going to come out raising their hands like, oh, I was the most trash person there, but I'm sure they all were doing a whole lot of everything that night. It's a teenage party. It's a senior farewell party.
Okay, but then you have to think, she supposedly doesn't even get there until close to 10 o'clock. And then, so, don't get me wrong. In my heyday, I could have been bombed in an hour. Don't get me wrong. I could have taken some shots and got myself ready to go in an hour. But she was supposedly driving, right? Was she the kind of kid who was going to go sit there and just take like a row of 10 shots knowing that she's going to drive home?
I would hope not. And the only thing we have to go on is Sammy's word of what Kylie's plans were to get messed up, or what I'll say the nicer version. But we don't know. Was that the real plan? Was that, I would imagine, and the Jane Doe's and every other account, even down to, Ronnie's cousins or whatever the hell his name is, everyone said the same thing up until 11 o'clock. Every one of them say she was intoxicated. She wasn't walking right. Everything was off. The only one that says everything seemed okay was her mom, according to the text, that we don't even know if she sent it. this point.
That's why I don't understand why her mom isn't thinking, because like she says she would have called me if she needed a ride. No, she's responsible. But then how do you think she accidentally drove into the reservoir when you said she knows the area? She's been camping there. She's been to parties there. Why does she think that she would have done that so easily? That's why I don't understand how she doesn't doubt it a little bit. Like at least a little bit of doubt would make you want the truth, right?
Oh, yeah. And what's odd too, I read it in 3 different places now that Kylie was known to call her mom to pick her up if they were to, so what changed in that whole, that's where I initially was on accident. I know they're going to rule it that way, but what they're going to rule and what we feel, I think are two,
Yeah.
And I think her mom just wants to believe in her heart so much that this could not, no one a part of this community that she loves so much and that they are so tied and connected to would even, it could do this to her baby. So it's just, she's in a bad place. It's her child.
Teresa, I gotta go. I didn't realize it was this late.
We just get to talking. No, you know what? Thank you so much, and I look forward to all your finds, all your solves. Like Christine solves things every day. Zav's solving stuff all the time. No, I'm so thankful that you came up, and thank you for hanging out over here and going through all of these things, because I can't stop my brain from trying to figure it all out.
I know. I'm right there with you. So
Sluethie said earlier though that she had uploaded her conversations with Elsa to her channel. So I don't know if one of my mods by chance could drop Sluethie's link in here, because I want to go watch those later too.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, nice. Sluethie's channel?
Said she couldn't get them all up there, but she did her best enough to prove like what the point. I don't believe Elsa.
I'm always checking your Sluethie, so you're one of the people that I check all the time, but I haven't checked you in like a day or two. I don't. Well, no, I can't. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
All right. Well,
you're welcome anytime, Zav.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back. Michelle,
I adore
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Drunk or not, the rough road I feel would have told Kylie she's on the wrong road. Okay, Kez chick. So that's another thing. This road is supposedly so rough, but yet we've had how many people in this local area have gone down and filmed it for us? Or all the people that went down there to go search for her. I just don't feel like the road is that rough, or that rough in comparison to maybe where she was driving when she was inside, like at the, the actual party area in those little, I can pull the map up, but you know what I'm talking about, like the little roads that were like right next to the party area. I don't know. Someone took her and killed her. Who and why? Okay. And S. Hockett, to your point, I know this is what my brain is doing to me, and this is why the title of this live is why we can't let it go, because I can't let it go, because I keep talking to myself about these little things, and I know statistically, this girl was at a party, she drank, she tried to drive home, she was intoxicated, disoriented, she couldn't figure out how to get out of the car. I get it, but
what are the honest chances of it being so dark that she just drove into the water? I have a hard time just accepting that it just went this way with all this sketchy insertion of friends. And I mean, the family is clearly divided on how they feel, and we cannot help it. There are just a shit ton of red flags in this entire case. To just say that this girl drove in or accidentally made it into this reservoir, it just doesn't add up.
Okay, so here's a weird thing I found too, and I don't think I saved it on my computer, so I'm gonna look and see if I sent it or if I have it in my phone. But as I was looking for all this car stuff, I came across this total random other thing, but it made me go about the area that they're in. I'm going to try to find it so I can read it to you. This one? No.
I agree, Monica. And then with Jane Doe too, saying that,
I don't believe anything Jane Doe 2 said.
Me either. Like the whole 12:30. She doesn't remember seeing any cars or anything around that time, but then we hear that there was this massive like exiting deal, and I just cannot accept that no one saw nothing. There's just no way.
Yeah, crazy. A panic attack would make you lose, and if you're intoxicated, which I'm not even sold. I'm at the point now I'm not even sold on the girl's intoxicated because of the people who are telling us that she's drinking. The two people that are telling us that she's drinking, that we know their actual names, are Sammy and Elsa, and their stories totally contradict each other. So I don't really, I don't know if I believe that. And then what, you got Ronnie's cousins that saw her stumbling around? I think I have an echo again. I'm sorry. Okay, so this came up on the Washoe Sheriff's Twitter on August 21st. It says, please defrost your windows before driving. This week, a driver failed to defrost his windshield, and it fogged up the glass, which blocked his view. This caused the driver to misjudge a turn and drive into a ditch, smashed the whole front end of his SUV. It's totally smashed. If that had been water, so I'm wondering, like, so this is the next, this is actually the day she ends up being found. So this is, not that far later, or not that long later. Is that something that to take into consideration? Is the weather up there? What did she not defrost her windows? Is she driving blind?
I don't see it. I just don't. I don't. I don't. And if she made it back to her car at the sanctuary, that's exactly where she, in my opinion, she remained until whatever happened. I don't have this idea that she went off anywhere else and then came back type of thing. I could be completely wrong, but they also came out with a report, I'm sorry, the next day saying how, it's known for campers to camp out in their vehicles before they take off the next day. And then it went from that to fast forward 3 weeks. They turned that same exact article into, oh, teenagers at these parties tend to get too intoxicated, so they sleep in their car and wait the next morning. Those media reports are just a little too. I mean, that they're a tight knit community, so they're all talking in a sense, but they're just not talking out loud. That's why we're getting Jane Doe 1, 2. People are talking to the sun. I think it's the same set of people.
If Elsa is Jane Doe 2, which I think she is, and for anybody who wants to know why I think that, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Well, one, her story matches the other stories that quote unquote Elsa has told, with a little bit of variation, but basically the gist of it. She's really the only one who's come out and told some of these stories so far. So she either is best friends with Elsa or she is Elsa. The other thing is Elsa is now friends with Chronicles of Olivia on social media.
Mm-hmm. And they're very, very sure, they're very, very positive that Jagger was not there, and they specifically mention it. I personally feel it's all three of them. That Kate could possibly be a part of this too, and I'm sorry, Kate, for pulling you into this, but I think Sammy's the one talking to the son, possibly even Kylie's mom, maybe backing some of it up, and they're coming out as sources. Sammy, the son came right out on August 11th, I believe, and said that Sammy gave them, like Sammy was a source of theirs. And I think they're just trying to change the narrative. So if they go this way and that way and this way and that way, and then law enforcement comes around and they sugarcoat it with their little things and they can bounce it off of who they're going to blame, which agency, or just keep going like this, it's a way of, in their minds, shutting us down from finding out that truth.
Mm-hmm. I question Kate. I would like to know more about the Friday timeline. Sluethie sent me the updated timeline, but I want to look at this video, or at least part of this video first.
Jagger's pal.
So I don't have the timestamps on the SF Investigates footage that Christine uploaded, so I don't want to play it because it's like 17 minutes long, and I don't want to go through all of that without the timestamp on it. And since I wasn't able to do it beforehand, I was hoping that I would get to do it before she left. But I'll post both the links. They're unlisted on the channel. I just uploaded them so it'd be easy to be able to, or had Christine uploaded them so it'd be easy for me to be able to find them. So I'll post them unlisted and you guys can look. But I know that there's enough out there, and I think most people here who follow Kylie know that SF Investigates footage, you can see Kylie's car on it, and that was taken the 17th. So, but this one, and I don't know if Missy's still in here, but this one made me think of her because of the visual, and this really helped me understand the visual of the car And I'm not going to play his whole video, but I do want to play some of it for you guys. Hold on. And you guys may have already seen it, but it's a really good video. I feel like the orientation is like off on this. Is it me? There we go. I think that's better. I miss these here. Okay, so this is good for visual learning. And I was like, wow, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
Good for me.
Oh, I heard that on your mic. So his channel is called Investigating Current Events, and I'll also link this. It's not a new video. That's what I'm saying. Some of you guys have probably or could have already seen this. It's not brand new, but it was the first time I got to like sit down and actually watch it like in depth, and it helped me.
My video. Today we're going to look at the orientation of Kylie's car as it went through its
You see it
recovery.
okay?
We're also going to take a look at the windows, condition of them previous to recovery and after the recovery. So let's start off with the orientation. First off, we're going to look at AWP's video here, and we're going to notice that the car is here, and it is perpendicular to the shoreline. The front of the car, which you'll be able to plainly see later, is facing this way. So that means that this car is upside down. This is going to be the driver's door. This is going to be the passenger door. It will be back of the car.
Okay, so this threw me at first. I was like, wait, what? Hold on. Let me
some
like
of
I
this
gotta like
would
get
be
like
more
oriented
clear
with this
later.
whole thing. So let me pause it for just a second so I can kind of go over that. Oh shoot. Of course I pause it right after he stops that part. Hold on, Jeremy.
I don't need to actually clutching, but
I agree, Marshy. Right.
Okay. So he's talking about the driver's door is on the right, the passenger door is on the left, the front of the car is facing away from the shore. So that means to me that, hold on, I'm going to see if it's too dark for my camera to go. Okay, so we talk about like the car drives in and it typically goes down because of the motor, and this time it turns to the side. So you can see that the driver's side ends up over here instead of it going in and then going down and then flipping completely over, where the driver's side would still be on the same side. So you can tell that the car goes in and then flips over like that. It like rolls almost. So as it's going down, it's going to the side. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you got the driver's side on over here, the passenger side, and it is facing straight out. Okay, let me play this.
This is going to be the back of the car.
I'm going to speed it up a little bit because.
Okay. Some of this will be more clear later. Let's move on to the other video. This is a video from KCRA. I'll put links to both of these in the description box. We're going to go ahead and skip to 3911 if you'd like to look at it. That is here. This is the first camera shot. You can't really see much. That car is under this buoy right here. You skip ahead to 4331 or so. You're going to start being able to see the car being manipulated by the tow truck.
So this was a big for me.
Let me speed this up a little bit.
And it explains like how the driver's window's broken.
To start flipping.
And then all the stuff comes out because the driver's side is broken.
The car is on its side.
So
you have the front.
We talk about like Ellie didn't like secure it. Well, I think what they were trying to do was flip it onto the driver's side.
You have a wheel here.
Because that side was already up. The window was up. But they smashed that window out, and that's how everything ends up falling out.
So the driver's side is on the bottom of the lake right now, and one of the windows is getting crushed out, by the way.
So you can see it on the side now.
It flip. Give it a second. Speed this up a little bit.
You gotta watch real close right here.
Plainly on the side, and there's the flip.
Yeah.
Draw some lines on here. The car is facing approximately like this. This is the shoreline. So they turned it a bit and flipped it. Now they're going to need to back it up out of there. I think they're going to turn it. can see the car kind of turning right here. Let me back that up just a little bit. So here you can see that the car's turned quite a bit off, maybe 70 degrees off of perpendicular to the shore. If we watch this and speed it up, you can see the car actually turning. There's tension on that line, and that car's turning right now back to parallel with this tow truck. And they've almost got it, and now they've got it straightened out. And then after that, they go ahead and they pull the car in. And you can see this is the rear of the car. The front of the car is facing out away.
Right, Crazy
So
Mama?
now
He
let's
did a
go to the
really
windows.
good job.
Now, I made another video on the windows and all the confusion that kind of surrounded the windows. So again, if you can imagine that car underwater, this is the driver's window. You can plainly see that the driver's window is intact. Let's see. The driver's rear window. The driver's rear window is down halfway. The passenger front window is all the way down. And again, front of the car is this way. Sorry about my crappy arrows.
I thought his arrows were really
and the
good,
shoreline
actually.
is
Amazing,
exactly that way. Let's see.
Crazy, you know,
Pictures there.
I guess
I did
I
say in
think
the other
that
video that you
every
don't
other
see any
video that I
presence of
see like
glass here.
AWP do,
You don't see
they're-
glass
when they
in
pull
the
the
car.
body or they pull
You
the
don't see
cars
glass
out
on
that
the
have
bottom of the
bodies in them,
lake.
they don't take the bodies out first. They're always
This one
still
you
in
can see
there.
that the passenger rear window is up previous to being pulled out of the lake. And then we go through, and here, after the car flipped on the driver's side, you can see that both front windows are now out, and the back windows are unchanged.
Oh, Verna, really?
So just to be clear, when the car went in the water,
This may be helpful
the
then.
passenger window was either busted out or was down. If it was busted out, there's glass somewhere else because it's not at the bottom of that lake. The driver's window was broken on the flip. The rear windows are unchanged. I think the reason that all of this matters is because everybody assumes that if she was in the front of the car and that passenger window was down, the question is, why didn't she escape? Why would she go to the back of the car? At least that's the question for me. And then why would you pass up a whole other window to get into the back of the car? So essentially, you've passed up two.
I was
open
watching this
windows
and I'm
to
like,
get to
yeah,
the rear
these
of
are
the
my
car.
questions. These are my
None of
questions,
that makes sense to
entertainment
me,
guy.
but
Like, this is
I
exactly
want this
what
to
I'm
be a
asking.
speculative channel. I want it to be obvious question channel. And to me, those are obvious questions. There was a lot of confusion about these windows, which ones were down, which ones were up, which ones were busted out in the thing. And I think we should have cleared that up by now, and we can move on with it.
Okay.
You can see
He
just
does
for
it.
confirmation.
He
this is
still
a
keeps
little
going, and
bit
he's got a
more
couple
current.
other
You can
videos
see
where he goes
here
through
the
everything on
driver
there,
window.
and they're all really good. So if you guys, like I said, I'll link it. If you haven't watched him, he does a really good job, and he explains it very well, like in layman's terms, where I'm like, oh, I totally understand what you're saying. Plus the visual and how he's showing everything.
Perfect, right?
Yeah, he did a great job.
That was great. Like I now get the whole, okay, that makes absolute total sense.
So this is my whole thing. Somebody said, what if other people are already trying to get out? So this was my thought, is that I am not of the belief that that something happened or they put her in the back of the car and drove her in. Because to me, it makes no sense. Why wouldn't you strap her into the driver's seat if you're trying to set it up to look like an accident? Why wouldn't you have strapped her into the driver's seat and made it look like she drove off, right? Why would you put her in the back and then drive it into the water? So my thought is, was somebody else intoxicated and driving the car and they left her there? They got out of the car and they leave her behind? Or are we going back to where it is an accident? And I don't know, because then you have the whole thing with the clothes, and that's going to get me on a whole nother tangent, and we don't have time for that tonight, but I'm just,
I'm still on the seatbelt. Like if what Nick is saying and all that account is true, which I do believe, asking about a seatbelt, and I can't help it. The first thing I think about is, okay, crazy prank that she doesn't want to say no to, or whatever. She has to be the daredevil to, or whatnot. So she's just going to do it. Something goes horribly wrong, or I mean, how did this kid just end up in this? I mean, Doug says it that looks like a man-made hole and a man-made. I cannot let that go. I can't make sense of it, but I can't let it go. You talking, T?
No, I was trying to put the link in the chat, so you heard yourself talking while I hit the video.
I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I just put the link in there. That's the video that we were just watching. Like I said, he does have a couple other ones on there, but I mean, he does a really good job. So I would say support him, because I will. I thought about a prank too. So this leads me to, so a senior prank. It's a senior send-off party, senior prank, or the whole. But once again, I just think if she was gone beforehand, why not strap her in? Like that just makes no sense to me. But I'm like, okay, I'm 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. Am I thinking like that? I don't know. Why wouldn't I take her somewhere else? Why wouldn't I dump the car somewhere else? That's a big deal to me. Like if the cops are all hanging out right there and they're searching this water, and we know now from at least the 9th, and Brittany was going to send me an article where it said the 8th as well. So we know the 9th to the 13th, they're searching that area of water. Why would you keep the car until the night of the 13th going into the 14th, 15th, 16th? Why wouldn't you have gotten rid of it somewhere else? Because now the whole flipping world's looking for it. We were already talking about this immediately.
Unless, if there are parents involved, or let's just say the friends of the parents maybe there's one or two maybe playing a bigger role in this, and they have eyes and ears that these teenagers and kids wouldn't even think of. And let's just say that parent was like, you know what, right time, right place, go there right now. And these kids have help and they're given direction of what to do. And that's why some of these things that were like, oh, with these teenagers in a panic think to do this. No, but maybe an adult with time and they're paying attention. They're like, here, throw it back in here while they're all diverted over there. I don't know. It's just things that I can't let that go.
Right. And this is something I was actually talking to Brittany about this case too, is what would be the purpose of a cover-up? And one of the things that, and I don't know which one of us, I think she did, but this is a tourist area. So would they cover it up because they can't lose tourism?
That add on to, if these children are involved, their futures are awaiting them, that these parents are not going to have tarnished, whatnot, because in their eyes, they're maybe looking at it, and you don't know what their children are telling them. Hey, she got a little too messed up, and this isn't our fault. We can't be held accountable for what she did, and this is just how the parents are taking it, and these teenagers are being led to not speak and not. At this point, there would have been something. These children are being led in some way, and I can't make sense out of that. But
huge thing up there is it's a huge thing there. We're just going to go out after football tomorrow. I don't know what to look for that phone if it was in the car. Like exactly where to look now. Yeah, that video is probably very helpful. It did a great job piecing all the little different parts and stuff together. Was she assaulted? I agree. And you made a comment earlier, like about I did not think that we would be talking about Kylie's case still. And trust me, oh my gosh, I know Michelle does. Christine definitely does. I think I actually sucked Christine back in. She was gone. She was out of it. It's like, all right, I'm done with this.
She's looking back.
But because I keep sending her, like, what do you think of this picture? Or what about that picture? Or how is this here? So, and if we do have another live on Kylie and Christine can come up, one of the things that on the footage of SF Investigates drone footage, there is somebody in the water. There's like a person in the water. So that means another person was in the water on the 17th. And I don't have those pictures handy to be able to show you. And now the dogs are getting restless, so they're going to start wrestling. So it's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
The parents have connections. Well, that's the other thing I'm learning about this community is that this isn't a community of people that are not there. I don't know how to say it. Like somebody said affluent, and I think that's probably a very good word to use, that they are in an affluent area. They're not like the lower class. They're not extremely high class, all of them, but they're high middle.
They have enough connections and enough funds, if need be, to possibly help their child get out of a situation or just get to the next thing before it does anything to their, new journey onto college. I think that's, I don't, if the police are openly saying that, listen, we just want footage, we just want to know something, like, to say that this child is part of your community and she's in the neighborhood backyard and this is everyone's daughter, and no one is speaking, that just doesn't add up to me in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't know, as Lindsay, I could just be so forgiving and so loving in return to what I feel like I don't see this child getting that. I just don't. And this is nothing against that community, but
this is like when we talked with Tiffany, with Tiff Marie, not Tiff Zabgirl, and I think that there's a small picture and a big picture, and I think that this is why I'm not going to fight with people about the case. I think that some people are looking at it in a small picture. Mom comes forward, mom says, "We've got this. We need time to heal and process and deal with all of this," and I think that long picture for mom, and this is my opinion, so you guys can agree or disagree, and I totally respect it. I feel like long picture for mom is she doesn't want to think that her daughter's friends would hurt her. Why would she want to think that her daughter's friends would hurt her? It bugs the crap out of me as an outsider to see mom hugging on Sammy or whatnot. And I'm like, dude, she left your kid, but she doesn't want to think the friends hurt her kid. So why would she even go that route? Because, these kids that are her daughter's friends, she's friends with these parents.
Yeah.
I don't want to think that my friend's kid is going to hurt my kid. So I see that, but I think there's going to be a long term. I think what happens with mom is going to be a lot different in the long term when she sees, and I think the same thing about like her feelings about AWP and even the video, and people were like, you wouldn't want your daughter in that video. And I'm like, right away, I wouldn't.
Right.
But long term, when I realize what having my daughter in that video does for other people who are in my situation, I would think I would feel differently. But right now, totally respect that. Like, she's like, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah. No.
And like AWP says, like they're used to dealing with people who have been, gone for a while. The families are typically accepting of the fact that they are gone,
Right.
and they're more inclined. I want to put another stop to this misconception, though. This is not the first active case that AWP has worked on. I know people keep saying that it's not their first active case. They have worked on other active cases, another active case that they've actually found the person. It just wasn't high profile. I would say this is their highest profile case, next to probably Jet Hall.
Yep, it's exactly what it is. Their hearts are very much into active cases. They're doing the best that they can to make sure that they can even be able to branch off and do all these different things to be able to help so many more families and so many more. Their goal is to bring them all home. And if there's a vehicle attached, they would like to be on it. They're an incredible group of people, and their purpose is just, it's amazing to me. It really is. It's admirable. It really, really is.
Right. And that's why I'm like, that's why I see like SF Investigates, people get really pissed off at him. And I'm like, I see that he sees it. He sees the short plan. He sees what the family sees right now. So all this other stuff pisses him off.
Right. I think he's much more connected too. Exactly. Like AWP, I feel like they say it for the victim and the victim only. They want to help the families. They want to bring closure to the families. But at the end of the day, they come into this, in the end, to make sure that the victim gets justice and truth. And I think that's kind of been a little bit of the problem with this Kylie case. I think they're sticking to what they believe is the truth, and that theory to them is the truth. And it is for a lot of us. And it's for Kylie. It's not, it's no disrespect towards the parents or anything of that sort, but it's just, we need justice for Kylie, and something is wrong here. There are tons of red flags.
I'm not going to highlight her comment, but look in chat at the real Rockin' Robin's comment. I get it, because I go back and forth, and this is why I don't pick a side and stuff like that, because I do go back and forth. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, poor mom, and then other times I'm like, no, like she says that, like, she asked for the world's help, and now she says she's the community's child, and I'm like, no, she's everybody's child, because we all got invested in this emotionally. And then the next day I'm like, but I feel so bad for mom, and you can tell she just doesn't understand what's happening, and she's in denial. So I don't pick one or the other, because I feel all of it. I have too many. My emotions go too far on each spectrum that I don't get mad. I don't get mad at SF Investigates for being mad at AWP. I don't get mad at AWP for putting the video out. I just don't, because I know that people are seeing it very differently. I don't get mad at people who cover Kylie's case still. I don't get mad at people who don't think the case should be covered. I see both sides. So I can't, and I don't know if we'll have more lives. It's really going to depend on how many days Michelle and I or Christine gets, sucked into looking at the stuff that's around it. And if there isn't, then I know there's other cases, and there's other cases we talk about covering. But I'm telling you tomorrow, if there's another thing that happens and I'm like, what the F, and I got to dig through it, or Michelle's like, I'm putting all this stuff together because this makes no sense to me, and we're digging through, then there's going to be another Kylie line. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, this is how it goes.
For me now, I put a lot of thought to it, and I never want to be disrespectful in a sense to anyone's parents, but we are in the true crime community. We are here to discuss. We are here to break it down, put it back together, all that good stuff. And I believe at the end of the day, we do very much help get answers and truth for these, whether they're children, whatever, with missing or whatever. I don't see it in the light that it's being put in. And I do the same thing. I flip back and forth, but my heart just somehow always ends up settling. That's the problem. It can't settle. It cannot settle because something is wrong here. This could be any one of us. Any one of us has a teenager who just started driving, who has a ton of friends, who goes out and does all the high school fun things and the things that teenagers do. They're just living life. And to know that she was amongst a bunch of people or friends in her community backyard, and for this to be the conclusion of her life, I have a hard time accepting that. And we talk true crime, so
right,
where this comes from.
And I know it sounds really selfish. I get it. I really do. But there's a resolution that I think that each person and each one of you that's in chat and each one of you that's in all these other chats that are still following the case, and like Crazy Mama said, like, I'm hooked. I feel sucked in. I feel stuck. And not in a bad way, not like a nasty way like I felt with Watts. Like by the end of Watts, I was like I don't even want to, like I adore people who still cover the case, but I'm like, I can't. You get like a really bad feeling. And I get that other people have reached that point, but I also respect the people who haven't, and they want to dig into whatever it is. So people are going to go tonight and they can say, like, this live, what are you guys are talking about the cars? Like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? And blah, blah, blah. But for me, in my own peace of mind, and then we'll talk about things that you guys think, or what Michelle goes through and what she finds. But for my own peace of mind, like, I have to know if it's possible that the car was put in after Ellie searched the water. When was that? So then I can look and go, okay, if you guys really believe that, then let's look at the exact time that could have happened. And it could have only happened from the 13th to the 17th. So every other day becomes irrelevant if that's the theory, that it was put in after Ellie searched the water. So we can only dig through what happened from the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and the morning of the 17th. The late at night of the 13th to the morning of the 17th. If we think the car was put in after law enforcement did it. So for me to be able to get back to my 80-20 or my 90-10 or whatever the heck I want to get back to, I need to be able to rule that out, because you guys come in and you tell me, hey, what if the car's put in afterward? And then I'm like, well, shit, what if the car is put in afterward? Let's figure out if it's possible.
80-20, 70-30, 60-40.
Right, and then I'm all over the freaking world.
I get it. It does. And there's so much to this, and there's so much talk, and between the the videos, the pictures, and it just seems to be always something to talk about this case. There's another, oh shit, red flag. You're just bing, and not for nothing. All in all, some of these people that we do discuss and we get heavy into are people that very much inserted themselves into this case. And I, for one, will speak on Sammy, because I just feel as though I respect her age, and I would never attack her, pick none of that stuff. I question a lot of things that she has done and said, yes, but I wouldn't know those things to question it if she didn't say it. Mm-hmm. And if her intentions were good, which we would all like to believe, why put out so much extra nonsense information and not enough of the important information? And then again, the lies. You could have just said, hey, I'm so-and-so. I half-ass knew her. I'm here to help. Here it is. She could have kept it that simple. She didn't.
So, in one of the articles I was reading going through all this, Sammy, it's about, one of them's about Sammy, and it talks about that one of her teen-to-teen meetings had 70 people show up at it. 70 people that were at the party showed up to do this teen-to-teen meeting. And I'm like, 70 people? Okay, I've got like maybe 10, maybe 14. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, the reach is far. So, and then if they have 70 people, then they say they don't have all these people coming for it. I'm like, that's 70 people that came to these teen-to-teen meetings.
Right.
So did Ellie not ever get to talk to those people? And then that makes me question all the things again. And then we go back.
Just going right back all the filtering.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have time tonight to go through Sluethie's timeline, but I know her original timeline was really good, and now she's got it even more pinpointed. And if you guys know me at all, I love a good timeline. So like alpha and girl over the timeline for sure. But she did say it's public, and it's probably on her Twitter, and it's just Sluethie Goosey on Twitter, or just Sluethie. So if you guys are Twitter people, you can do it there. I'll also try to figure out if I can download it and then link it. I don't know. I'm not tech savvy, but I'll try. I don't know. Like, I don't want to say I'm done. I don't want to say I'm not done. I don't know. I don't trust those kids. I don't believe them. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier when we were talking about the other case. There was that case where those girls set up, their friends set up the one girl because she had seen something that she wasn't supposed to see, or they didn't want her to see. Is it Skylar? Is it Skylar? Skylar Niece, the friends the two friends ended up unaliving her because she saw them together, and they didn't want anybody to know that they were together. So they unalived the girl for it. Like, is there something weird going on that we don't, like, Mags leaves, Kate doesn't even go?
Have you heard what Mags originally said when she, I think this was on the 9th, August 9th, and she's talking to the son, and she says that her and Kylie met when they were 9 years old, and that their parents were friends, and they were basically forced to be friends. And, and then she kind of laughs and jokes about it after and says, and here we are today. And I was just like, I found that kind of more like a forced friendship, so maybe Kylie maybe felt more friendly with them than maybe they felt with her, because clearly Mags and Sammy are close and they're friendly, but here to come to find out.
Was it Kate or Mags that went to school with Kylie? One of them went to her school, one who went to school with Sammy, and I can't remember which is which right off the top of my head.
I don't know which one.
Maybe somebody in chat remembers. I'm gonna stalk your ass if you try to stop criminality. Well, that's what I said. I'm not stopping, because literally every day. So we had the whole Jagger thing comes up. Then yesterday there's another article about the Jagger's like living with the parents. Did you see that?
Yes.
That he's like living with her parents right now. So then that made me think, has he been living with her parents? Because remember, his alibi was that he was in Napa with his dad. So like, did he go out to Napa with his dad? And he's been staying there? Like, I brought up so many other questions in my mind. Is it relevant? No flipping idea.
Oh, it's relevant. We need to know. We need to know where he was.
Because she lies.
Yeah.
This is one of those things right here. Green Eyes just said, why did Sammy state that she drank everything that Kylie did that night? I thought that was an odd statement. And she makes it more than once. My other issue with that is, if you listen to Jane Doe 2, Elsa, then you know that Elsa says she saw Sammy, but she never really, or she saw Kylie, but she never saw Kylie and Sammy together. So wait a minute. You're either always together and drinking everything, but Elsa doesn't see you guys together and never sees Kylie take a drink of anything. She just thinks that she's intoxicated because of the way she's walking, but doesn't know her well enough to know if that's her normal gait.
Exactly.
And then supposedly sees her fall in a hole.
She gives extra details for no reason whatsoever. Instead of just, I don't want to call it normal, but I feel like if you were going to be the spokesperson for these teenagers, and she was going to be that person, like, listen, all right, guys, if we're all afraid we're going to get in trouble, I'll be the one. I'll be the one that talks to, okay.
I got this. I'm smarter than all of you. Right. Hi, Pink Dahlia. I'm sorry you don't feel good. I miss you. Love you.
Good night, babe. Feel better. I just think she inserted herself way, way, way too much, gave way too many extra details, way too much of a lot of things, and not enough of what was really needed out there to do what it did, to distract, deter, wingle around, cause some more confusion. I think I can't help but to feel, even with Elsa, I feel like they're out there, they're speaking to the son, they're doing a bunch of different things to try and change this narrative as best as they can. And maybe because Lindsay's very worried about these children, where she sees it as they're being attacked and they're really going through it right now, and may not realize that she could possibly be helping them create this story and push it out there. But why are
Well,
they?
if her daughter doesn't have a future, does she want her friends' daughters to not have futures too?
I think that's what.
Is that what it is? If
right
this is just a terrible accident, and even if the girls are like, it was a terrible accident and this is what happened and we totally screwed up, but she's like, we're not going to screw up their entire lives over a mistake that they all made. And I told the story the other day, and you weren't on here, but when I was in high school, there was a group of 8 guys that had known each other basically since like kindergarten, first grade, and they all went out drinking one night in a Suburban, and the Suburban tipped and crashed, and 4 of them ended up passing away, and not the driver. So the driver was, held accountable and charged with a few different things, and the parents of the 4 boys that had passed went to court and advocated for him because they knew that he was going to live with it for the rest of his life, number one. And number two, that all the boys made the choice to go and they knew what they were doing. And one shouldn't be more responsible than all the others when they made the choice for themselves. So the parents advocated for him. He still got in trouble. But my point to that is, if that's what Lindsay's thinking, is something like that, like these parents did not want this driver, the boy that drove, to be punished for the rest of his life for a mistake that all the children had made.
This is true. This is true. And she's holding on to them. And that's what most parents do. If they want to hold on to everything that their child had, whether it be their friends, it's their, toys, clothing, whatever they can that still have that attachment. And she's also friends with her child's friends' parents. So this is her community. She doesn't want to lose that too, So I can absolutely
lose everything.
I can absolutely see where she is emotionally right now. I just think later on, when things start to maybe, like you said, the bigger picture and it all comes into play, I think she's going to appreciate the way a lot of us care for her child, and mainly people like AWP and the hard work that they put in.
Because I've not. This is one thing, and I said this last time too, is I've never seen anybody really bashing Kylie. Like I know I've off the cuff comments here and there. Don't get me wrong. I know I get it, but nothing like Watts with like Shanann. Like, you know what I mean? Like that woman was destroyed on social media. Kylie is 99%, 100% like close to being supported across every social media platform that I've researched the case on. Is people actually care about what happened to Kylie. Now, are people fans of Sammy, Jagger, the rest of them? No, but people actually seem to really care about Kylie and what happened to Kylie.
They do.
And then people are like, it needs to be let go. Before I even started this live, somebody made a comment in my chat and said, this needs to be let go. Her mom needs peace. And I'm like, one, don't ever reach out to her mom to cause any type of issue. Like, I don't know. I don't think that needs to be said, but I'll say it just because. And two, if you are friends with her mom, please get her off of social media in general. Like, she doesn't need to be. This is never going to end well. We can go back and look at like Frank Ruzick and what happened with him and all the media that he tried to do to get people to stop talking about his child. It doesn't work. It makes it worse. People get pissed off at you. Go heal. Go do what you need. Go have your peace. Go do whatever it is. And this is going to happen irregardless. So don't make it harder on yourselves. That's my advice to anybody like that. Don't make it harder on yourselves, because everybody will be scrutinized.
Yeah. It's just it was brought to YouTube in a sense, but just like if it was brought anywhere else on any other platform, it's
right.
And anybody that's going through things like that in that time where people are giving a bunch of opinions and discussing anything is not the best place for you to be, because you're not emotionally and mentally there yet to even be able to fathom half of this shit, let alone to discuss it or take someone's opinion or theory or whatever, I mean, my heart breaks for this entire family. It really does. The dad breaks my heart too, to think that he came back into his child's world. And I think that's why he's going so hard too. He just, it's his I'm sorry to his daughter for maybe not being around as much as maybe he feels like he should have been, or whatever, like.
And he's going to struggle because that's his only child.
Yeah.
That's his purpose.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, like, when these families, they do lose a child and they have other children, I don't know how the balance would be to be able to try to live for the other children, knowing you've lost one and you're destroyed, but you still have to move on with these other children. But then I think of the side of a parent like him that doesn't have another child. Then where do you go? Like, how do you heal? Green Eyes asked a question: was Sammy really wet at some point that night and changed her clothes too? I have heard this rumor. I have never been able to find where it came from. And all the other creators that I've talked to, you know, ATS covers this, CDT covers this, Brittany's covered this, Zav Girl covers this. I have probably even more than I'm not even thinking of right this second. But every one of us has talked about this. Amanda's Vita. Nobody can seem to find where the source of that came in. It says, was Sammy really wet? Well, the rumor said that she had told her sister when she got home, or her sister had said that she was wet and changed clothes. Now, where did that come from? And then speculation started, does she even have a sister? She only has a brother. Well, then I found out that she actually does. She has two sisters, but they're older, so I don't know. So there is a sister. Does the sister ever say that? I have no flipping idea. I have no. I've heard it, and I've heard it. I don't know where the heck it started.
I think it came from did it come from that large group picture from the news maybe? And they had her circled. I seen that floating around in the beginning, but I don't know if anything came out of it.
I don't
remember. It looked like she was holding a set of clothes, a person that they thought was Sammy. And they had her like traced out by like the tree from that big group picture.
Oh, is that where it came from?
I believe so. And
where did it come from that her sister said she changed clothes?
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't even know her sister spoke.
Yeah, I don't know either. But Delana says, and doesn't know if she has an iWatch. See, that's just the stuff that made me so I really couldn't listen to her interviews anymore because she bugs me. Yeah. She's like, we don't pay attention to stuff like that. We don't pay attention to if somebody has an iWatch or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but you know that her car has hubcaps and a sunroof, and you know what her belt was. Probably because you have the exact same belt. And speaking of the belt, I want to say something about the belt because this is totally trippy. So Mike's aunt was here from Arizona last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. And her daughter, so it'd be that's Mike's cousin then, because that's her aunt. So Mike's cousin. And she's 18 now. And she had that belt on.
Wow.
She had the same flipping belt on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, you have the belt.
You have the belt.
You have the belt. Oh, Christine. Everybody cross your fingers. Her daughter's next. She's so nervous. Oh, how cute is that?
She's going to be fine, baby.
Crazy mama, girl code. You never leave a girl. You just don't leave your fucking friends, man.
That's it. Boom.
And then people are like, well, she's young and she was drinking. I'm like, you have no flipping idea how many times I was at parties with my friends and we were drinking and not one of us ever left the other one of us behind. Yep. Never happened.
And like in a group, there's always like, the wild one, the one that's a little quiet, the one who moms everybody. And then there's like the secondary mom, which she fills in when, the usual mom, she's a little jacked up for the night, Mm-hmm. There was none of that. Like there was just, I could not tell that Kylie was close friends and at a senior farewell party with her. That's not, I don't believe that was the scene that she was in. I very much believe she was at a party, a senior farewell party. To say that she was there with friends, I don't know about that. Maybe one or two may have been there, but there's no way that all these things were happening and Kylie was just able to be in that state and they all just rolled. And that was just normal and okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then went so hard, and this is more for Sammy, went so hard to say, I was the last one to talk to her. I know I was the last one to talk to her. I was the last one to talk to her. I was the last one to see her. I was the last. And then to turn around to think that none of that was going to be put into question, I don't know who was advising this kid through all of this.
I don't disagree with that. I think that happens with every case, and it's just you just have to hope that people learn from that and move on. That's the only thing I can ever say is everybody goes through a different process on these channels, and it's not always fun. They're talking about Grandpa. Did we ever figure out if Grandpa was Grandpa? Grandpa is the same Grandpa? Somebody's got to figure that out for me, right?
We'll figure out.
Her sister said this, but I've never seen where this came from. Yeah, exactly. It's okay. I think I'm very behind in chat. I apologize, guys. Criminality, I have a screenshot of someone saying that in a comment. Somebody saying that the sister said. So many questions, Greenhouse. Yeah,
Oh,
like I
really?
said, these kids do not know the difference between drunk and drugged. That's very true. If somebody did try to drug her and then there was an accident because she tried to get out of there,
Yep.
that she could have spilled alcohol on herself, not wet from water, to be fair, and if it's true.
This is true.
I believe that Grandpa and Dad want answers too, and there seems to be some stuff going on, and I don't know if it's just social media speculation. There seems to be some issues with the division on who wants answers and who doesn't.
Yeah. I think Grandpa's sticking by Dad, even though Grandpa is Mom's dad and Mom and Dad, don't have the best relationship. I think Grandpa is being the extra set of eyes for Lindsay, but at the same time, I truly believe that he feels exactly the way Daniel does, and they're both kind of in this together. And even though they're on two separate sides, in a sense, I hope Grandpa along the way, if anything comes out of this along the way, can help open up or help Lindsay see it maybe the way Daniel does, in a sense, and that they can kind of find some resolution between the two of them for the sake of Kylie, her memory, her legacy, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what
I think they'll figure it out, and hopefully they're not overly stubborn and they don't let it wreck a relationship. But there's going to be so much tension. There's just so much tension.
Yeah. This is we say it all the time. It's a parent's worst nightmare, family's worst nightmare, and they're living it.
Yep. Ooh, Rock and Robin sent me the water levels too. I'll look at that. I want to look at that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sending that. The thing is that was Mom's dad. The thing is that was Mom's dad, and they act like they didn't know right away about AWP, but her dad knew right away. So I asked Doug that question on Zab's panel, like how long was it from the time that you confirmed that it was her to the time that you talked to like Dad and Grandpa? And he basically said from the time you got to shore, it was 90 seconds. 90 seconds. So they weren't the first to know, because obviously we see in their video that they call Lori and they call, Grandma Sally. And those are the step aunt and the step grandma.
Right.
So we know they're not the first to know, but I went through trying to figure out this timeline, because I know that was always a point of contention, was like, when does the post go up versus when does the family find out? And I'm telling you guys, it's all right there. But they were out there from 11 to 3, and I'm broadening it a little bit, from the time they found the car to the time that they actually suit up, go back down. I mean, there's a long time there where they are right there. And the dad, the grandpa, SF investigates, they were all right there too in that area.
Well, that's what I think. If I remember correctly, SF had said in the beginning that he was standing there already. They were at a different location. They weren't at Prosser, but they were not far away. He was with Grandpa for sure. I cannot remember if he said he was with Dad too, but he was definitely with Grandpa, because Grandpa had asked him to hang around and stay, basically. And one of his friends, I believe, or one of his associates, got the news before even he did. That person called Steve, and Steve got the news, and he said he was facing one direction, and he said that he remembered taking a huge deep breath, and he almost lost it himself because he kind of had to turn around and look straight at Grandpa. And I believe he said he gave Grandpa the information. He told Grandpa what had happened while AWP was on the phone with someone else. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that very night is when Steve puts out on his Twitter. If you guys want to go check it out, he puts out his story of what had happened, and he gets very, very emotional when he talks about his bond with Grandpa and everything that happened after.
I can imagine. That's horrible. Was he really there? What, SF? SF was out there. They weren't right there on the beach, on the sandy area. They were out in that area looking around and, just seeing whatever they could find.
Yep. They were at one site, and AWP was where they were. And I guess by the time everybody got their calls and started going, Steve got his phone call.
Right. and I have the unpopular thing, like, why was, if you know that AWP's there, and I purposely asked Jalissa's mom this, like, were you there, like, when they were searching, like, did they allow you to be there when they searched? Did you leave? Did you stay? And her answer was that she was allowed to be there and she stayed the whole time.
Yeah.
As they searched for her daughter, and that to me was like a little different. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm not gonna go any further. But what these people were there searching. Where is everybody? Why isn't anybody out there seeing what they find?
Yep.
Are they confident that Ellie had cleared it and that's why they didn't care?
I believe so. I believe anything law enforcement was saying at that time to them was taken as literal gold. And until AWP came in and literally rocked the boat and was like, oh, wait a second.
Right. And then I know that there's people who are like, AWP is like out doing XYZ, after the word. It's not the fact that they found her. Nobody's mad about that. It's what happened after. So I have my screenshot from AWP's post is 7 minutes after they posted it. 7 minutes after they posted it. And it says that family was notified. So the original post said parent notified. And then it said family notified. And my thought to that is, well, the guys that are standing right there aren't the ones doing it. It was most likely Jared, who wasn't there. So he was probably the one handling the social media. And as soon as he realized what was going down, he changed it. Right. But it was within 7 minutes it was changed. Because my screenshot says family, and it's 7 minutes after it was posted.
Right.
So I just want, for anybody's like, well, they put up that the parents were notified and they weren't. I'm like, okay, they did. They put parent, but then they immediately changed it.
Yeah. And like you said, in all fairness, even if it wasn't Jared, they have a team. Doug's doing one thing, Nick's doing another. They have guys that are filming for them and holding those cameras, and they also have people that are, that are around and they do like on-site, in a sense, research and things like that. So it could have even been maybe that person who just said, hey, family was notified, you can put it out now. And then that person put it out. Things like that just happen sometimes, it's just who's communicating to who. And we have two different families in a sense that are now coming back together. And I do believe that they felt strong in their family connect that they had. And maybe that's just not how Kylie's mom and that side of the family saw it. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of what I took from it.
Yep.
And that's kind of where it boiled down.
I asked Doug if he knew or spoke to the correction as PI when he was on Zab's. Guess what his answer was? No. Well, because I don't think he actually talked to the PI. I think the PI was just standing there listening.
I believe so too. They were doing, think of the moment. Think of what just happened. They just found her. All this is happening. Nothing against Steve, but the last thing that Doug or Nick at that point or anybody from that crew is thinking is to run off and go talk and find the PI involved. They're just there trying to get this done, dealt with. They're trying to figure out how to talk to Dad and Nick. And Grandpa. And then you have law enforcement comes up on the scene and boots everybody off, and it's just, I think Steve just maybe felt some type of way because when AWP came in, they got a lot of recognition and maybe he felt like he didn't get the same. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the feeling I got from Twitter.
But see, to me, he played a totally different role.
I agree.
He played a totally different role in the whole situation than AWP did.
Yeah, he wanted to be the hero.
The fighting, but he is somebody's hero.
Right. When you think about it, he is. He is.
He is somebody's hero. So that's my point, and why I don't. There's really no reason that they fight. They played two totally different roles, and they both did something for this family that none of us were able to do. We're not there.
I totally agree.
So I don't know how. I just don't think everybody should be mad at anybody. I think it's just dumb that they fight, or he fights with them when they're not even fighting back. UFC Frog is in the house. What's up?
Hello.
Thank you for coming on panel the other day. It was a pleasure. Wiss says Jagger has a sore on his lip in the Reno interview. Is it split? I just noticed that. Okay, well I can't play that interview because apparently they copyright So I don't want to play it, but I will look at it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he shouldn't be. Is my point. Yep. He really shouldn't be.
Yep.
He did. So I guess this is why I say that, because he went out there and he started posting on Twitter, and then he was talking with Grizzly True Crime, and he ended up sending her some footage, I think on the 17th, sending her footage of what he was filming and stuff, and it was amazing. He was doing, it was his footage was awesome.
Great.
And he brought that to all of us that nobody else brought to us. So there was a lot of, we were counting on him to tell us some things. And then the fighting makes it so you don't want to listen to anything the guy has to say, because you don't want to listen to him just fight. You want to listen to what he does have and what he did do, which was be there for dad and be there for grandpa. And, I want to hear the stories from them. And when they were sitting around at night, did he tell them did grandpa say stories about Kylie when she was little? And what did he say? You know what I mean? Like he has something to offer, and it's not fighting with AWP. And I hope that he realizes that.
Me too. He was amazing in this. And when everything hit with AWP, he maybe doesn't even realize this, that he distracted all that hard work because of his new way of wanting to put out information. Originally, it seemed like he was putting it out for the sake of finding Kylie and, for Kylie. And then it seemed like it became about, I'm going to let out information to correct the narrative that I feel now that AWP is putting out there. It became no longer, in my opinion.
But their narrative isn't the same. They weren't in the same place. Their story isn't the same.
And he feels like, because that was part of the thing with Grizzly, I believe he was going to come on, and they were all supposed to come on together. Something didn't work out, and it was over narrative. Now, I didn't know this through AWP because they don't even respond to any of this. I knew this through Steve's Twitter because he announced it, and he said that they want to control the narrative. They don't want my narrative out there. And it's just like, Steve, there is only one, especially for you, there should only be one narrative in that sense. They found Kylie, you were there, you were an essential piece. You were comforting to the family when they needed somebody the most to give them answers and direction and, all the things they didn't even understand about stuff like this, and all that got completely, I feel like that got lost in there because of his whole deal with AWP.
Yeah, he got pissed because he got blurred out of the video. Crazy mom. I wonder if that's true. I wonder what really turned him to just being so pissed off.
I actually think he wasn't at first, and then after all the nonsense kept going.
Did he get pissed after the video was released, or was he pissed before the video was released?
I believe he got pissed the second they made their post, and then the video came out, and that just, he went and he kept going after that. But it was the initial post of them saying that they found Kylie is when I noticed his Twitter started ramping up more. His tone.
He literally could have had his own story, and now people are going to be pissed off and not like him because of the way that he's acted. And there's going to be people that are going to say the same thing about AWP. I don't care. I adore them. But, so whatever, it is what it is. But my point is that I think that SF Investigates could have done and still can, because I know he went out to go help look for Jalissa. He went to go help look for Jalissa. He could have amazing footage and help. But he's choosing a different path. And this is where he's damaging himself.
I totally
Teresa, I know you have been right there. I know you would have been right there if it was your child while they were searching. I would see you leading the search and asking all the right. I couldn't imagine leaving. I couldn't imagine leaving. So, hi, wee Scottish Ma.
Yes, welcome.
Oh, a new sub here, late to the party as usual. That's okay. It's always a party around here. We're just kind of chit chatting at this point. I hate all the fighting. I just think it's fucking stupid.
It is stupid. Stupid. Exactly what it is. Stupid.
People get mad. People are just mad at everybody for how their perspective is or whatever. I don't think that, like I said, he could actually help people. And I don't care if he's an actual PI or not, because that's irrelevant in helping people. I'm not a PI, and I know that I have family members from other cases I've covered that we still talk to this day.
You know where your heart is, and that's it.
So that's what I'm saying. The guy could have done something, but he wants to be pissy pants.
I hope he learned after all. It's just not worth it.
Right. Sammy Sparrow says, my son's My cousin's grandson, 15, was just one of 5 killed recently in Australia. The driver survived. Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we are so sorry.
He got saltier than the Dead Sea. See, now the chat's got jokes.
We got jokey jokes.
I'm petty, but I ain't no salty bitch. I guess that's kind of how I feel too, crazy mama. I'm not that salty. I mean, I can get petty if people want to get petty. I just don't really. I don't see the point in it. This is a fucking grown man too. You gotta think. This isn't like a child.
We're on the same mission here, so there's no reason for it. You know what I mean? They're just. That's why I keep going back to. I feel like this is more about recognition than anything, and I feel like he was getting that. I don't know what it. And then because I remember it was about the drone footage, it wasn't. I believe that kind of like ramped it up too. Like, hey, it was on my drone footage, but then there were people replying, then you would have found her, and then you should have, looked at your own.
Yeah, you could have found her,
right? Like,
and maybe that's what he's pissed at. Maybe he's pissed at himself, and he's just taking it out on other people.
Possibly. I think a whole lot.
I don't get to be petty. Oh man, you would have really loved me back in the day. I think I fought so much in my life. I fought all the time. I fought with everybody, and it was just pissed off all the time. And I was pissed off at somebody every day, and I don't know. It's fucking exhausting. So I'm just like,
it is. It's exhausting.
I don't really fucking care anymore.
It is.
Like, yeah. All right. We've been on here for almost 3 hours, Michelle.
I know, baby. I know.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with this case. It drives me insane. I'm stuck. I can't leave.
It is. It's. I can't put it down until I genuinely feel like Kylie got what she deserved. In a sense, meaning Kylie gets the love, care, thorough, honest investigation that she deserves, and that is it.
UFC Frog says, I fought my shadow if I couldn't fight with somebody. That's legit. That was my life. That was my life. I don't know how many bars and clubs I got kicked out of for just beating the crap out of people just because I was pissed off and they pissed me off, and that's just how it went. Now I'm like a mom of 3. I'm tired. I'm like,
Now they're kicking your ass.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have the energy for it. So, but once again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. As I know, once again, I'll tell you guys every single time. I know you have 100 other places that you guys could be to hang out, and you choose to be here with us, and I absolutely appreciate it.
My favorite line ever. I love you, T, for that. I love when she says it. It's like our ending.
Because it's so true. It's literally so true. Because I know how many people, and especially because, time for me is not easy with everything I have going on. And so Fridays, I know tons of people go live. It's Friday night. And I know that there's a lot of places that you could go and watch, and you guys choose to hang out here. And it means a lot to me.
Yeah. We love you guys. Honestly, thank you. You're just being here, hanging out with us, chit chatting, even for the ones that don't, want to type in so much. We know you're there, and we thank you just as much as for listening and just being here.
Yep. I'm a huge listener. I listen to lots of stuff, lots of channels when I'm just doing other things. So
and
I appreciate the listeners.
We love you guys too. Thank you.
And I appreciate you, my Mia Moore, Michelle.
I love you.
I think you're the most beautiful thing in the whole world.
Oh no, you're the most beautiful thing in the whole world.
No way, man. That's you. Nadine, yeah, absolutely. You can. Of course. Nadine, you guys should check out her website too. And then
oh yeah,
I still need to get my mask from your hubby. So you can drop his too if you want, because he's got some really cool shit, especially for the holidays or the Halloween season coming up.
Oh, get out. I will so be on that, Nadine, for sure.
So all right. I don't have my closer who always does my cool closing. So tonight's just going to be my abrupt ending, and then Christine can come and yell at us later and be like, "One of you guys is going to have to figure out how to do this." But yes, Dillian, thank you very much. Please remember to always be kind. It's free to be kind. People deserve an ass whooping every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be too afraid to give it to them, but just keep the hate to a
Give
minimum.
some grace and
It's
be
much
nice.
easier.
This is true.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.